The walls of time are breaking down. You need to listen. The only way to save the universe. Watch Type 40.
It's time for Type 40, materialising right here again with the live stream Doctor Who magazine show across your view screen in real time on YouTube, Rumble and on Facebook. Always in front of a live chat full of friends, fans and companions just like you. It's going to be utterly fantastic. Oh, I'm going to love this. The night is young and so am I, sort of. I'm Dan Hadley, Birmingham's king of the geeks. And honestly, the things I do for you lot. We are faced this time with a cavalcade of the comical, a parade of the preposterous, and lots more in between too. Lots to get stuck into. I can't believe what's filled up the list of must-get-tos this time here on Type 40 Live. And yeah, I've coaxed a panel along too to get into it all with me. Well, with us, because you're along too. Of course you are on YouTube, Rumble and Facebook in the comments section. If you're on Facebook, in the Type 40 Facebook group, as always, you've got to hit that little blue link. Get that one. Yep, that one. Hit the little blue link and that will tell Facebook who you are. Facebook will tell StreamYard. StreamYard tells us. We all get on first name terms to get stuck in to all things Who in 2024, early 2024, when the ship is being steered by this fella, sort of, with his decorated fingernails. We're tracking the whole Whoniverse, past, present and future, as always, every time here at Type 40 Live. But it's been a little while since we connected with him and them right now in this gleaming console room too. Very, very cavernous, isn't it? And ideal to fill up with playmates, isn't it? Yes, they're waiting. They're waiting now. So who shall I wrangle in first? Oh, it's been a little while. So let's see how things are going for our real life time traveler. Yes, there has to be one. There's no faking it with our mate Matt Pott back on the show. Hello, Matt.
I never fake it. No.
Yes, I've heard this about you. Good morning.
So real. Good morning. Yes, it is morning here.
Good morning. Good morrow. How are things?
A little too early.
I was going to say how are things up your way, but it's more sort of down your way from where I am. How are you, mate?
Don't want anything up. Well, we're in Tay fever at the moment, so it's.
You're in what?
Tay.
Any cream to rub that on that?
This is a new one. No. This is the Taylor Swift bandwagon. So she's coming down for 7 concerts. So everybody's left down here to go to see her concerts. I don't understand it myself, but there you go. I'm too old.
There's Taylor Swift. There's Ariana Grande, and there's somebody else as well. And I always get the three of these young girls sort of mixed up. I don't know who sings what, who's with who.
Oh, I don't know either.
What's going on? Maybe Charlotte Shields can fill in the blanks for us. Who are these people, Charlotte? What's going on?
Well, I know Ariana Grande because she's going to be in Wicked, which I didn't even know they were going to do a movie of, and Wicked. She's in that. Oh God! I didn't think that one through then. That's going to be so much fun for you now.
Wicked. Now that is the one that's sort of based on the Wizard of Oz, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like the untold sort of before everybody else did the whole untold story aspect. Yeah.
This isn't helping, Matt. This isn't helping. But yeah, so that's Ariana Grande, but who's Taylor Swift? I don't know. Let us know in the live chat who is Taylor Swift. I feel like the second Doctor. You know, what year is this? Who am I? What's going on? It's that kind of thing.
It's like, come on, old chap, where are we?
Yeah, it is getting that way. I know who's gonna know. He knows everything. He would do, because I think he has it channeled directly via various cables and dishes and any means he can, really, in the nerd den where he's hunkered down. I'd like to think that Jack never leaves this place, but I know he's been out for a nice meal. He's made it anyway. Good to have you back, Jack.
Oh, it's lovely to be here. I mean, I can help point out the differences between
which one's which.
Those two.
Who are they?
Taylor Swift writes songs about the celebrities that she dates and then breaks up with. To be honest, I think Ariana Grande does as well. So, I mean, probably
and the 8-year-old girls like her.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I'd probably recognise one or two. If somebody showed me a picture of them, I wouldn't be able to say who was who.
Everybody that's a Taylor Swift fan is her biggest fan. It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's like everybody who's a Doctor Who fan is the biggest Doctor Who fan.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like that.
I was going to say, and at the moment, Taylor Swift's going out with a American football player, so people know that.
I'm amazed he hasn't broken her yet.
So they're both famous.
Yes.
It creates that kind of...
no, he became famous because he was dating Taylor Swift.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, we have an international panel to crack all this essential information tonight, Jack. Between us, I'm sure we'll get there. So we've got the Southern Hemisphere. We've got the Southern Hemisphere covered with Matt Pott. We're here in the home of Doctor Who in Great Britain, but I'm happy to say that we also have our American correspondent here too. It could only be for the first time in 2024, Dr. Scott back on Type 40 live, and with lighting to match the splat as well.
Yes, just a little bit of green for you. I thought, why not? It's 2024. Let's match.
You could be in the lair of the Sea Devils, couldn't you?
I could be, yes. Well, I always say this is a basement show, so why not?
They don't go much more basement than us. Base, maybe, but yeah, based, certainly. Well, we do try. So, Scott, who is Taylor Swift? Who's Taylor Swift and who's Ariana Grande?
All right, Jack is completely correct. Every album is laced full of, oh my gosh, he broke up with me. I kissed him and he broke up with me. And I don't listen to her music. I was telling my wife the other day, I have no idea what she sings. No idea. Same thing with Ariana Grande. Although I have seen some interesting memes about her, all I do remember is she was dating Pete Davidson at one time.
Ah, yes.
And she has a super dark tan now.
Who's Pete Davidson?
She's dating Peter Davison.
No, not Peter Davison. Not Peter. No, the one from he used to be on Saturday Night Live. Yeah, and then the other one's what's that one? The Genie in the Bottle is the only one I know that girl sings. From like 20 years ago.
That's going back.
Christina Aguilera. Yeah.
God, bombshell after bombshell. Peter Davison's dating some young pop star. My God, I can't make any sense.
Everybody's dated Taylor Swift except you, Dan.
Can you imagine what Georgia's going to say at Thanksgiving? Wow,
it's not going to go down well, is it? It'll all be up the pictures. Ian David Diaz is here. I'm happy to say the Mega Geek is back with us for this one, and I'm happy to say that if I have no idea who any of those young ladies are, Ian will have even less. Is that right, Ian?
That
His
is
niece
true.
as well.
I have no idea who these people are. I know Taylor Swift. She's really plain, isn't she, and tall. I've seen her around on TV and stuff like that, and she had a big movie in the cinema as well where she made billions or some nonsense like that, didn't she? It was like live show or something.
They just put her tour in cinemas, and it made like 3 times the amount of every other movie that was in the cinemas at the time.
Yeah, so she basically threw the distributor onto the floor and said, "You're not touching my film," and she just, said, put it out there herself, and then she earned every penny. with the cinemas that made.
And
that
then
she
she's
made
just
with
made
that
a killing
film,
with Disney, hasn't she?
Exactly.
I
Yep,
don't-
yep. So she's very clever.
I don't understand any of this.
Well, no, I think her
whatsoever.
dad's clever.
This
Well,
is
well,
maybe.
her dad owns a trucking company called Swift, and he bankrolled her to start off, and now you know why
He
she's
bought her record label.
Yeah,
I think we have to get back to safer territory where
please.
we know what's what and who's who
sorry.
and where
I'm sorry,
things are going in the Doctor Who universe, in the Whoniverse, Matt. I think that could be safe. I mean, we've got this shiny, bright new TARDIS, still very, very new, except that, of course, this being the Doctor Who universe and Doctor Who fandom, somebody's got to go and make a mess, haven't they? Because it's here. This rolls around as regular as Christmas does, and with all the dignity of pretty much any political party conference you can name, it is definitely Doctor Who silly season right now. But you can trust us to bring the news and the moos on what's happening next for the world's longest running, most distinguished sci-fi and fantasy TV show. So are you still game for this panel? You're here now. You know, you can always hit the button. You're game for all of this?
Bring on the shite.
Thanks for putting me off my biscuit.
We're going to try and do it all justice, Ian, but you know, you may have to hang on to your lunch for a couple of hours as best you can, because obviously results may vary. We're not going to do it alone. They're along for the ride too in the live comment section on YouTube, Rumble, and on Facebook, listening to all of this nonsense. Let's go and see what they've got to say about all of this and about our meandering through the pop stars of 2024.
Welcome to Type 40.
He'd know
Get on with it. Get on with it, this. And he probably would. Yeah, I'd say he almost certainly would. Okay, so who's in? What are the names on the roll call this time? Who's here? Who's here? Oh, lots of early ones here, including Crimpling de Bloom with his customary greeting of ahoy, shipmates.
Ahoy.
Ahoy. Hi, everyone from Lord Thoth. Hi, Lord Thoth. And a hail. And howdy, one and all from Darren M there, looking like Max Headroom again. I like that. That's hello everyone from. Oh, that's from you. That's from you, Charlotte. Back in the past there. Hello, Playmates, says Peter Harrington. I thank you. Was that Arthur Askey that used to say that, the catchphrase?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they know I'm a fan.
Oh, that's for your benefit. That's the Matt fans in.
I've got his autograph. There you go.
Have you really? You have to tell us about that. Yes, definitely. Oti is in too. What a week it's been. Still in shock over the death of Steve Wright.
Oh, yeah.
I think a lot of people in Britain are Oti, aren't they, Ian? So for the people who don't know, though, who was Steve Wright to you? How would you describe it?
Well, he's a DJ, and he was he used to have a show in the afternoon. Most days, and he was absolutely brilliant. He always used to make me laugh, because I used to work at post-production facility at the time doing graphics for Top of the Pops, and we used to have the radio on, and he was very funny. He was on radio for a very long time. It's a shame, because he was as I said, he was very funny, was very entertaining, his show, you know, and this is radio we're talking about, you know what I mean? We're talking about the 80s as well, so
he was the first one to sort of popularize in Britain a form of radio that was quite big in the States in the 70s, wasn't it? Of having a crowd of people all in the studio and having it quite frenetic and things like that. So it was Steve Wright that really popularized that in Britain and was on radio for 40 years.
He said that they gave him some rules when he started. They said, you know, don't say anything you shouldn't say, but also, remember, it's a mic and you. So just imagine you're talking to one person. And then he sat there and he went, fuck that. I'm just going to go balls to the metal. And that's what he did. He basically went full steam ahead with his nonsense. And he made up so many characters. He had so many guests, so many big Hollywood stars appeared on his show, you know, and he was, as far as I was concerned, he was brilliant. And the BBC did the inevitable, fired him.
They eventually fired him, like they do with everybody who's good. But he was welcomed back in eventually, and I understand him was still broadcasting as late as Sunday. No idea whether he was a Doctor Who fan or not. Darren Apkins in. He says, hello there, everybody. Hello there. Hello. Heretics with us as well. Again, with a kind of magic, very much working for them.
I like that art cover.
It's one of my favorites.
So do I.
Hi all, says Doug Sims. Doug's in Australia as well. I think he's in the Southern Hemisphere as well, certainly. Good to have you back, Doug. He was on, I think his first live show was a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, we've got him up early as well. Hi everyone, says Tom from T Dwarf Productions. I'm just making the crab robot for Bonnie Langford. For her personally, or the one that's going to attack her in the swimming pool in Paradise Towers? Let us know. The yellow one there, Tom. Is that the one? Yeah, I think it could be. CTC is also in the house and says watching Type 40 has been known to keep the dangers at bay. Charlotte, what dangers does he mean? What's he talking about?
Oh, it could be so many at this point.
Yeah, just rub on any affected area. Hanoi75 says, managed to get on here on time this evening. Hello, all. Hello to you,
Hello.
75. Good to have you back, Darren. Darren? No, Darren. Hi, Darren from Garbage. Stop confusing me, Garbage.
Hello, Garbage.
Both of them are in happily. So's Matthew Butterfield as well. So's Nerd Den. That's you again, Jack, transmitting from the past.
You're in two places at the same time. How is that possible?
By regeneration, apparently.
Okay.
It's all the range.
Richard asks, hi Richard, good evening. Says, has Dan moved here to Dorset? Not that I know of, unless I've been sort of transported lock stock.
Well, he's still king of the geeks in Birmingham. Is it Birmingham? I don't know.
You certainly know me. How many years have you known me? You don't know where I am?
I'm joking, obviously.
We've an update as well from Heretic, who said, for anyone who wished her well last week, we all wished her well, Heretic. My youngest Melody was discharged from hospital Sunday evening. She's recovering really well and watching me tonight. Both her and Clara are here. Well, I'm happy to hear that Melody's out of hospital. Fantastic news, and all our best to all of your family there, Heretic, and enjoy your evening, your day, your evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. Happy to have you back. Yes,
kind of magic.
It's the same thing. Yeah. Oh, so lots of faces and lots of names, including Big T back. Yes, it's Big T. Big T, Big T, Big T. Greetings and salutations, one and all, says Tony Farrell. Happy to have you back, Tony. And Simon Ashley's in too with an evening all. So yeah, lots of good stuff. Matt in the Matt fans are definitely in, including Retro Doc Gary Akers is representing.
Retro Doc.
And Peter Harrington confesses, I am a Swiftie. Well, maybe. No.
Nobody's perfect.
Is it too
I've heard of pulling a Swiftie, but
yeah, it's a little too early in the show for a filthy joke, so I'll speak it. It's kind of going where I was going. Hi, everyone. So Simon Anthony. Hi again, Simon. Happy to have you again with us here. And Dada Debasa. Really? Says, didn't she sing Tell It to My Heart? That was Taylor Dane, wasn't it?
Yes.
Who knows?
No.
Back in the 80s?
Yes, that's Taylor Dane.
No, I'm showing my age, Scott.
Wait a minute. Is it Taylor Dane or is that Hart?
Who knows? Who cares?
I have Taylor Dane's greatest hits out in the living room, but I'm not going to go get it.
Simon Ashley is the biggest Doctor Who fan, though, Jack. It says here, look, it must be true because it says right here in a big white box.
Well, if it says it on the screen, it must be true.
And Doug Sims says, so nice to see a bunch as unimpressed with Taylor Swift as I am. Well, I've never met the one. This is the problem, Doug. I'm not entirely sure who she is. She may be very impressive for all I know. I think I've got to get up to speed and get with it, or maybe I haven't. Maybe I'm right as I am. Christina,
she's for the young ones. That's what she is. We're too old for her.
Yeah, give me Sting, Talking Heads, Duran Duran, and Iron Maiden.
It's
I'm
just
good.
weird seeing something popular for once.
Very, very true. Everybody's going mad for her. They're probably going mad for Father Miller too. Yo ho ho says, a little late for Christmas, Father Miller, but happy to see you nonetheless. Good stuff, yeah. And the time
Have you guys been arresting preachers lately? From what I've heard.
What?
What?
Oh, I've just heard a lot of police telling people not to preach on the street.
I tell you what I'm preaching this evening. I'm preaching. Pinching? I've done a bit of pinching in my time, but no, I am preaching, and I think you'll probably join me in preaching happy birthday to our Sarah Graham. She can't be on the show tonight because she's got a life, so she's out there celebrating her birthday with her family. They're going to go and see that film, Charlotte Argyle.
Hopefully she enjoys it.
Yes,
I thought she was going to see Madam Web.
That's even worse.
But
yeah,
Well,
Ian's
listen,
right.
she might be having. Don't be a miserable son. She might be having a fantastic time. Let's just wish Sarah a big old happy birthday from everybody here on the panel, in the chat, here at Type 40 Live. I'm sure she's having a
birthday,
great
Sarah.
Happy
time.
birthday, love.
She is having a good time. I know it. She loves partying. She loves drinking, and
Talk about outing somebody, Ian.
So
I was there when she was drinking. So her and Shah, they love drinking. What can I say? You know?
Okay, that does not mean that
Absolutely.
Sarah's a lush, but next time I'm there, Sarah, you and me, we're going out.
We don't use the L word here. We say publican's friend. Publican's friend. Greetings all, says Rob Alexander. Hail, a simple hail from Kirsty. And who else is here too? Digbury Strawbridge as well. Good to have you there too, Mr. DS. Oh, I think we could be all caught up now, but there's lots of tributes to for the late Steve Wright. Clearly a broadcaster that affected so many people. A lot of people grew up listening to him. I certainly did. Remember Arnie and the Terminators, that novelty record? That was all down to Steve Wright back in '91. Fabulous broadcaster. Sean from Review It Yourself is also in the live chat. Happy to see you here too, Sean. And definitely you're welcome to come on the show at some point in the not too distant future. Yes, so we need more. We want more comments. We're very, very greedy here at Type 40 Live. So wherever you're watching us, whether it be Rumble or YouTube or on Facebook, in the Type 40 Facebook group, more comments, please, on all of this. Help us wade through the nonsense. We're really going to need it. So stick with us, and we'll stick with you.
Go on then.
You're watching Type 40.
Woo!
That's what she's doing for her birthday, then, eh? With Paul McGann.
Out on the ras with Paul. Yeah,
Paul.
it could be. Evening, Paul, if you're watching. Yes, so wherever they are, it's not going to be as warm as it probably is at the Marriott Los Angeles airport right about now, I think it is, because Gallifrey One, which is the biggest convention of the Doctor Who calendar, Gallifrey One, that starts today. I think it's on for about 4 or 5 days this time at its usual home there in that gorgeous blue. Is the water really that blue, or has this been touched up? You know what? I don't know. I don't think I ever want to find out. But it looks spectacular. So this is what's going down at Gallifrey One this year. A whole list of guests. I've never been to this, Jack. I'm really, really jealous. But check it all out. They've got Sir Derek Jacobi's there, Alex Kingston, Billy Piper, Matthew Waterhouse, Fraser Hines, Camille Kaduri, Eric Roberts. Now, have you ever been to Gallifrey One, Jack, or is it on the bucket list?
Sadly, I've never been, but if the stars align next year and it's similar dates, then I might have to go when I'm in LA next year.
Are you going to be in LA anyway? You're going to make the trip, especially for Gallifrey One. What would you do?
Well, I'll be in LA anyway with family. I think it's next February. So fingers crossed that they stick to around a similar time frame, and I'll make sure to swing by.
Good list, though, isn't it?
I think
isn't it
pretty strong list.
There's no doctors there.
Maybe they're all busy. Who knows?
Yeah, well, we're getting a particular number 13 over here very shortly. So,
but
13.
Maybe maybe they will join. Or has it started today, Dan? It
starts on the 16th. So depending on which time zone people are in. Yes, I know that several friends of the show are getting there about now. So we do hope that if you're watching and you're touching down, that you've had a safe trip. Everybody gets there and has a fantastic time. How about you, Scott? Have you ever been to Gallifrey One? Would you consider going?
I would. I don't know that I would go to Los Angeles, though. I have no desire to go into California.
Yeah,
I don't like.
No,
thank you.
Reports. I mean, I do. On the plus side, though, I do hear that this convention is really quite intense, and that from the people I know who went last year, like our friend Stephen Noonan, I think he said he went out there and he didn't actually leave the complex the entire time. So there was no need to. So they could have just put the complex, this airport, down anyway, and he would have never have known that he was actually in LA. I think a lot of people never actually go out to the city itself.
If it was in Vegas, I'd be there in a heartbeat.
Thing is, though, LA, you know, LA, you need a car, obviously, to get around, don't you? Because transport's not, you know, it's not
Is that
accessible.
right?
So yeah. So
No.
I don't blame people just staying in the hotel and staying in that area
Yeah.
and not venturing further out if they're Doctor Who fans, you know. So
That's how it works. Yeah. So I'm looking down the list here, and whilst you're right, there are no doctors there. There are several people who I think would probably hold court very, very well, and people I've never seen interviewed before, like Sean Dingwall. He's there, Charlotte, who played Pete Tyler, didn't he, in the Russell T Davies 1 era?
Oh yeah, I didn't say some names I'm rubbish at if they're not big stars. Like for Doctor Who, they've played smaller parts. I'm terrible, but that looks like a really nice sort of, like you sort of said, mix of classic and new Who there, which is lovely to see. And I could see the likes of Fraser or even like Alex Kingston when I've seen her do panels. That they're good crowd people. They can definitely keep a crowd entertained with stories and sort of their personalities.
there's 4 big ones there, isn't there? Jacoby, Piper, Kingston, and Roberts. They're the 4 big ones. So you never know, other doctors might join them, you know, later on, because that's what happens on these things, don't they? You know.
I don't know. I think it's fairly set in stone. But I must admit, Ian, I would love to see Eric Roberts interviewed. So I do hope that there's video of that. I like that Annette Badland's there as well, an actress I've always enjoyed watching in various shows. Ian, so recognisable. Bergerac, EastEnders, all that stuff, man. Damn, she's just so much stuff. I really like her. Rachel Talalay's there. Always seems very pleasant, very creative, and very engaged with the fan base. Jack, I think she'd probably be lots of fun.
Kevin McNally, he's like been in so much stuff now. He's sort of like a stalwart, isn't he? So he's probably got plenty of industry talk and stuff he could talk about, basically.
Fabulous actor. Yeah, to me, he's still Hugo from the Twin Dilemma. Much more impressive in that part than anything else that he may have appeared in Doctor Who. But yeah, fabulous actor again. But of course, as a Blake 7 fan, I am drawn to the bottom, towards the bottom of the list there, and I see Sally Nivette, Brian Croucher, and Jan Chappell from Blake 7 there on the list as well. So that's a curious thing to have at a Doctor Who convention. So that's the 2 ladies who were there at the very, very beginning of Blake 7, playing Jenna and Callie together there in LA, along with Brian Croucher, he was the second incarnation of the bad guy, Travis, the geezer with the gammy eye. Ian, do you remember him?
Yeah, I do. I was really sad the original one left, but
not that bloke with the gammy eye, the one that's gone in the river. This is the other one, the one in black.
But I mean, it just goes to show, don't it, that, you know, most of the people that are there are not really working regularly, so they do need gigs like this, don't they, to top up their pension money, or, you know, or to pay for certain things. So, do you know what I mean? The only person there I have total respect for, seriously, is Fraser, because that man, you know, he's always at conventions. He gives his all to Doctor Who. He and he's not appreciated for it at all. You know, he's mentioned very little when it comes to well, that's how I found. I mean, everybody talks about Billy Piper, blah blah blah, but Fraser was there, you know, almost from the beginning of the start of Doctor Who. Do you know what I mean? So he should be appreciated more, in my opinion. You know,
I definitely agree. I think when it comes to classic companions, I think he gets a short sort of deal. Like they don't celebrate him nowhere near enough.
He's a bit of a national treasure.
He's always enthusiastic.
He is,
always. Always about Doctor Who. He never ever says anything negative about it.
Yeah.
Of course, he was the reader too of Will Hadcroft's fantastic Doctor Who audio original, The Resurrection Plant. A review of that coming up very, very soon on Type 40, a Doctor Who podcast. So yeah, I think that looks like a good time there. Oh, what's Jack holding up? It's nothing improper this time.
Fraser last year.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
was that outside his house?
No, that was at Spearhead in Wood Norton. It looks that way to me.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oh,
it was an absolute delight to meet too. I met him at the breakfast because I stopped at the venue the night before, and he was lovely to talk to. I had coffee with him and everything. He was absolutely gentleman, and he had plenty of stories to tell about his time with Patrick Troughton as well. Which was
I've never heard anybody tell a bad story about Fraser.
He's the only celebrity to come down to Tasmania. Like he's the only Doctor Who celebrity to come down to Tasmania for
Again, I think he's
What a legend.
underappreciated, that man. So, you know.
Well, I'm hoping that this time next week we'll have a long list of fabulous quotes from Fraser Hines and all the other cast and crew of Doctor Who from the classic series and the new series that are present there at Gallifrey One around about now for the next 3 or 4 days, including the cast there of Blake Seven. I think that's going to be very, very interesting. And we'll be picking our way through some of that on a future edition of Type 40 Live. As always, who is going to cause the most uproar? I think it'll probably be Camille Kaduri. That's where my money would be. But you never know, do you? You never know. Talking about uproar, I couldn't believe it this week when I saw a listing up on Amazon. Everybody, now it's here we are. So we're barely into 2024. Aren't we? And I'm thinking about what the year that lies ahead. Now, we've just had the 60th anniversary. We've got a whole series stretching out in front of us. And yet some people out there, we've got Easter eggs already in the shops.
Yeah. Mother's Day.
Gone, we'll probably have the Christmas stuff as well. Time seems to move so quickly. And this is all down to retailers, and none more so than the people who bang out these. So this is the once prestigious line. The once prestigious line of Doctor Who hardbacks, the official Doctor Who annuals. So, amazingly. So this one, which I've never seen this out in the wild, Ian, you may have seen it. I don't know. I think I've never seen it in a single shop yet. I'd like to get a copy of this. Haven't seen it anywhere. But yeah, so while I'm still trying to track this down, they've just listed the next one. 2025's annual has appeared up on Amazon for pre-order. Again, we've got a price increase there up to £11.10 and a release date of October the 15th, 2024. So that's a little bit later than usual, and no cover, no placeholder image yet. But this has to be the earliest I've ever seen an annual listed, Charlotte. It's mad. Do they want us to sort of spend our lives just gazing at pre-order lists and waiting on things to drop through the post? What is this need to make next year this year already?
Yeah, especially as, like you said, there's no cover, there's no art, there's nothing to sort of make it stand out at all. It's literally just a title at this point. So, but I'm sorry, that's a lot of money for an annual.
Yeah.
It is. I was just thinking that myself, and I don't even understand pounds. But I was like, I know that it's expensive, and I'm like, really? That's that much?
And it's not like sometimes I'll get like an art book. Like I can understand the price for those for games I like, or certain other things where it's like you want to have the glossy like behind the scene images because that's what's fun about reading those things. But here it's not that sort of behind the scenes from usually annuals nowadays. It's just, here's a bit of news you probably know. It might be one interview that's a bit exclusive, and that's about it.
The page counts have
how many
dropped.
pages is it usually?
The last one I saw, it was about 60, 70 pages. Have you managed to pick up the last couple, Jack? Do you get these?
The only one I got recently was last year's. I stopped getting them during, I think, it was the Capaldi eras, because whilst the annuals have always come at the end of the year, I've always felt that they've been behind on covering the new series stuff, because from late Capaldi onwards, obviously, the series themselves aired at the end of the year, so you'd never get them up and content for the new episodes in the annuals until the following year, which I just felt was a bit pointless because you were just kind of like a year behind. And I just didn't feel like there was any incentive to drop money on something that, wasn't going to have any new stuff in. I just didn't really see the point.
Whilst they can't have any news in them as such because of the publishing sort of window that they've got on that, you would think they would at least have original fiction like annuals used to have, but they've got so thin. Let us know what you think of that in the comments section. We've got people chomping in here and agreeing with you, Ian, about Fraser Hines. Rarely mentioned, says CTC, a great injustice. But of course, he was an Emmerdale legend, as was Sally Nivette. Yeah, she was. Her character was married to Fraser's character on Emmerdale. So maybe they'll be catching up there from over in LA, catching up on old times. Who else is there? Oh, we've got Shah. Shah is in. I want to go. You've only just got here. I think she means. I think she means
wants to go to LA. Yeah, she wants to go to LA. Yeah.
Will Hadcroft rocks, says the timescales, which of course is very, very true and very, very based. Is Stephen Greif still going to Gallifrey One? No, he's not going anywhere, sadly, Pete. I'm afraid Stephen passed away around 8 or 9 months ago. Very. Oh, yes. And so,
difficult.
Yeah, bless him. Fabulous actor. He played the original incarnation of Travis, of course, in Blake 7 too. I met Jacqueline Pierce, says Peter Harrington. My God, Swin, I met Jacqueline as well. She was a real character. And Chris from Black Glove Studio, he's also in. He's off to Galley this next few days. He says you should all come to Galley. I'd be happy to meet you all there. We'd be happy to meet you as well, Chris. Maybe one day, maybe next year, Jack. I always think it would be weird to go all that way and only to stay in the one location, but there we are. Fraser Hines is a legend, agrees. Doug, Sim, no arguments here at all.
Yes.
And several people also were amazed at the price of the annual. 64 pages of what? Says Gary Browsey. Yes, it does say in the listing sometimes, doesn't it? Yes, it does say, you're quite right. 64 pages in this. So, yeah, the page count goes down just as the price goes up, which is quite often the story with these things. Yes, nowhere stocks the annual. It's not just me, then Woodhouse 122. You haven't been able to find the latest ones either. No, I haven't. I had the pleasure of meeting Fraser last year at Spearhead Live in Wood Norton too, says Simon Ashley, Jack. So he was there as well. And lots of other people talking nice things. I've never heard a bad word said about Fraser Hines, I have to say. Never once. Woodhouse 122 did find 2023's annual in a Chazza shop for 50p. Ian, would that sell it? Would that sell it to you, the Jody annual?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Don't know who that is, obviously.
I think I did see the 2024 in, I might be mistaken though, on Saturday in WH Smith's.
Oh.
I think I saw
it. Am I
mistaken?
mistaken? But they never ever had her on the cover of an annual.
No, they did the first couple, but they quickly stopped.
But they didn't sell.
They very quickly revised that strategy. Because we all know what sells when it's come to Doctor Who. It's things that people like, and if you put things that people like on nice, tasty items, then it's even better. I've always wondered why there's never been an official Doctor Who breakfast cereal here in Britain, Scott. It seems like the kind of thing that you jump on in America. You're brilliant at capitalizing on things like that, aren't you?
Oh yes, there's always something out for you name the movie or something. If it's going to be something big, they'll have a breakfast cereal out temporarily. But I'm surprised that you said that there's never been one for Doctor Who. Well, we've never seen one here either, even when it was in its heyday with Matt Smith and David Tennant. So that's odd.
You do remember, Dan, the Weetabix things they used to have. Remember?
Yes, there's been tie-ins, but never actually Doctor Who cereal. That's and odd. I'm not alone in hankering for that, I'm happy to say, because our friend Darren in the live chat there, formerly the Darren Zone, now going out under the name of Darren Apken, he sent this along. So he's used AI to make his dream become a reality and to bring these to your breakfast table. Well, in your imagination, at any rate, we've got the Daleks and Cybermen with their very own breakfast cereal there.
How's the Dalek supposed to eat that?
Just to suck it up with his sucker, Ian. I would imagine.
Daleks do not eat, we exterminate.
Maybe you could take it in through the hatch there in between the gun and the sucker. I don't know. But I think I like the Cyberman in particular because he does look quite hungry.
I love the color on the box.
Crossword at the side as well. Brilliant.
Little touches like that and all the nutrition bars and all that kind of I love that. Darren's he's made it sort of semi-real. What are those? What's that kind of cereal called? Are they called magic hoops or something like that? There's
Cheerios. Are they called Cheerios?
Well, we call them Fruit Loops.
Fruit Loops. Yeah, the one would be Fruit Loops. The other one looks like Cheerios mixed with Fruit Loops.
Absolutely delightful. So keep having keep having fun out there in the Type 40 community, and post your artwork, your AI artwork, if you like, as well, there in the Type 40 Facebook group. We're happy to see all this stuff. The things that fire out of the imagination, it's all fine by us. Something else that's been flying around is this, Ian. I think you're going to like this. Now, you mentioned there were no doctors there at Gallifrey One.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you there's one. Well, there's one that's been staying home, and he's been reorganising his clutter. He's been decluttering, I think they say, and that's this bloke, your favourite Doctor, in fact, Sylvester McCoy, the seventh one. Whatever, he's your favourite. So Sylvester has been going through his photo albums and putting up photos from throughout his life, including Doctor Who moments, all over on his social media account. And I think it's just to prove that it is him, because poor Sylvester, in all seriousness, he's one of several celebrities that's been the victim recently of a kind of identity fraud. So that's why I wanted to mention this. He's had his accounts cloned, and people have been contacting fans on Sylvester's behalf using his name, which understandably has caused Sylvester and his management a little distress. You can understand that, can't you? Yeah, he's been sharing pictures from throughout his career, and including this one. So, as you're a big McCoy fan, I thought you'd particularly like this. So, this is Sylvester at an airport in the mid-'80s, here in his colourful scarf. They're waiting to fly out. There he is. Can you see Sylvester there? There he is. There. How about that?
With
the hat on. With the hat on.
Yeah.
I was say, Ian, do you notice another face?
Hugh Grant. Hugh Grant. Bloody hell.
Yes, Ian.
Wow.
This is the nearest. You were a lot slower on that than I thought you were going to be. My God. It's the things I do to make this bloke laugh. Yes, there he is. Hugh Grant and Sylvester McCoy there in the airport together, waiting to fly out to separate jobs, I believe they were working on. But Sylvester, found this photo out, put it on social media. Him and Hugh Grant there. They're not speaking. I don't know if, I think, maybe Sylvester's farted and Hugh's trying to read. He just doesn't want any of that. Don't know what's going on. But so how about that, Ian? Will that do? Will that satisfy your Hugh Grant appetite for the time being?
I don't like Sylvester McCoy's version of the Doctor, but I'm pretty sure he's a nice chap as a person. Do you know what I mean? As Sylvester McCoy. So I can understand why people do like him. But as I said, I didn't think he did Doctor Who any favors when he became the Doctor personally. But I mean, I wouldn't mind meeting him and stuff. Obviously, I wouldn't say that to his face. You were a crap Doctor. I wouldn't say that to his face. No.
How dare you imitate Buster Keaton as the Doctor?
yeah. But does he have pictures of him when he was on Vision On and stuff like that? He's talking about his career, isn't he, Dan?
That's right. Well, the easy way to find out is to follow Sylvester McCoy, the official Sylvester McCoy account on Facebook and on X. And you get lots of images like this, as well as his memories. I think he's got people who handle the account for him, but you can tell that the accounts of his career from the past are very much in his words. Charlotte is a very, very distinctive actor, isn't he, Sylvester, with a long career?
Oh, he's got a very unique and naughty sense of humour, which I do love. Whenever he does conventions, he's so funny. Some of the 50th stuff he did was brilliant.
And it seems like he's worked with pretty much everybody, including Ian's favourite Doctor in Waiting, possibly, or certainly Doctor Who guest star in Waiting. Who knows? Yeah, lots of people spotted that in the live chat. Love the bloke, says Cinnamon Toast Crunch. McCoy in Remembrance, I thought was brilliant, says Garbage. That's never going to be an opinion that doesn't go down well with Doctor Who fans. It's a stone cold classic story. Hugh Grant says Scribbling Flynn. McCoy is my favourite Doctor. He's a legend, says Heretic. There you go. Every Doctor's somebody's favourite.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's unique about the show, right? That everyone has their own Doctor. Everyone grew up with the certain actor that played the Doctor, and that's what's unique. No other show has done this. No other show. That's why Doctor Who's so great. Well, in the past, not this era. So there you go. So yeah.
Well, Remembrance may not be the fan favorite of a lot of people. I mean, I like Resurrection, but still, I mean, he had a great line in there. I have pity for you. That was fantastic, especially saying that to Davros. So there you go.
Tom here from T-Dwarf Productions says Sylvester McCoy remembers me every time he sees me. And I think it's little things like that endear these actors, these personalities to the fan base. And that the Doctor Who family we were talking about earlier on. And I mean, you were saying about Fraser having breakfast with you there, Jack, at the convention. It's a similar kind of thing, isn't it? It's just taking a few minutes to make time for us because we've gone to see them. It's probably that simple, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And just to be honest, you know, I just love hearing stories of not only when they worked on Doctor Who, but other shows and you know, kind of like, you know, what else they get up to, you know, and it's just lovely to hear how passionate they are about stuff like
also that. there are people of a certain age, so they, you know, when you get to that age you appreciate what you've done in the past, but you also you're grown up enough to appreciate what's in front of you as well, you know what I mean? So that's why they're so, you know, they're so nice. Especially a lot of people that's met Sylvester, because I've never met him, say that he's a wonderful chap. So, you know, there you go.
Yeah. Hugh Grant from Doctor to Oompa Loompa. CTC.
He was funny in that film. I love Hugh Grant. Hugh Grant's like one of my favorite comedic actors. I think he's brilliant, but you know, that's just me, of course.
Richard Brooks insists that he is lying. He's lying, Richard Brooks. He's lying. Of course he is. So, yeah, keep them peeled on social media. Follow Sylvester McCoy's official accounts. By all means, support the Seventh Doctor. And, yes, let's hope that he can get rid of the identity thieves that are out there lurking and preying on this really popular, much-loved actor in the Doctor Who community. While I'm at it, I'd like to remind you that we're really, really grateful for all the support and all the engagement and enthusiasm for everything we're about here at Type 40. 2024 has barely begun. Lots of great stuff. I recorded a fabulous podcast the other day, even if I say so myself. That'll be dropping on the feed very, very soon. In the meantime, you can get all our past episodes at our dedicated home feed, type40.podbean.com, or across the podcatcher of your choice. Everybody, go and take your pick and have a listen. Get us in your ears. Yes, where next stop everywhere. It's sort of everywhere, but it turns out you've got to watch where you step. That's the only problem. There's a lot further to get into here at Type 40 Live. Nigel David's in the live chat and says, "Hey, evening, everyone.
Nigel.
I'm a bit late. Nigel. What have I missed? Oh, so much gold already, Nigel, but happily, there's plenty more to come."
Nigel, you've missed nothing, mate. You've missed nothing.
You cheeky bastard. You've got to go back and savor it all, Nigel. That's how it works here.
Can we start the show over, Dan, so he can see what he's missed? Let's just start over.
Oh dear. Oh, we've got guest announcements here from Comic Con Northeast. Announced that John Barrowman is going to be there, best known for his role as Captain Jack Harkness. So obviously that's another convention altogether in Britain. But it's getting towards that time of year where they will start announcing various events, various shows, whether it's conventions or afternoons or one-dayers or whatever, and we'll report on whatever we can here at Type 40 Live. And those of us who can make those events, we'll get them, we'll drag them in and get them to give us their report from the scene of the crime. How about that? How does that grab you?
Okay, definitely a crime.
What next? Definitely. Depends what you're talking about, doesn't it? Depends what this is definitely a crime. I thought, shall I pause for Ian to groan? Yes, so you may. You look at what? Oh, the jukebox. You mean?
Yeah, that thing.
Yes, Simon pointed that out to me last time. You can't unsee it, can you? Okay, so yes, he may well look like that. But we know what's going on because it is absolutely that time again. It got to the point where I thought I was imagining this, everybody. But it's definitely true because I had to go and check the calendar before I could declare that it's absolutely true. It never misses a season. That familiar swell Smell is swelling up and down the time vortex. Doctor Who silly season is a thing, everybody. It's definitely a thing, and it is full of it. This year, some really wild stuff. Some really wild stuff has gone down with a thud and a slight splatter, Matt, and these brave souls are going to help me try and shovel up as much of it as we possibly can as a fuel for debate, and also to, as always, take the piss. So I can tell by the looks on your faces,
the wrong
you're
thing
wondering...
up there if you want to take the piss, mate. Tell you, the wrong version.
I've got some worried faces here in front of me here for the start of silly season. But this is something we've been doing for a few years, isn't it, Charlotte? And at first I thought, you know, there doesn't often seem to be a lot of silly stories around. And then it sort of passes, and then it comes back around again. What is it about this time of the year, about early to mid-February, and these sort of wild stories?
I think it's because we've usually got a bit of Who, whether that was a series by the end of the year or a special. So we've got a bit, so that makes people's imagination just go completely bonkers, and they just make up stories from the tiny bits we do know. I think if there's nothing in the ether, they can't do it. If there's something out there, they can go, right, here's my fan fiction. I'm going to make it as a leak.
Yeah, because we've just met two brand new Doctors in the last few months, been served 4 kind of feature-length, well, certainly hour-long stories, more Doctor Who than we've had in a long, long time, more proper Doctor Who than we've had for years and years and years, and yet as regular as clockwork, it rolls around. I sort of put some of it down to boredom, I think, Jack. People sit there twiddling their thumbs, and maybe they've read all the books they had for Christmas, and they're looking at the calendar thing, when's the show back on? And so people sort of think, oh, I wonder. And that's how you end up with all this mad stuff happening.
Yeah, certainly. And as well, it's all quiet on the marketing front as well. You know, we got that little teaser at the end of the Christmas special, and then that's it. We haven't had anything else. And I guess when there's nothing on the social media side of things, people kind of take it on themselves to promote the show, whether what they're saying is true or not. But yeah, what I've seen, there's a lot of feces flying around, getting flung around the hall.
You could say that. It is positively wild. We're going to start with some of the tamer stuff, I think, because in Doctor Who's absence, the toast of the Saturday night TV schedules, certainly for the family audience, has been this. Mind your eyes, Ian, you're about to see something that may put the wind up you. So yes, they're back. Yes, so the Gladiators are back. They've stormed to victory on Saturday nights on BBC One with this new take on a TV classic, a huge success all the way back in the 1990s, if you remember, for ITV, back on BBC One with a whole new cast and fronted by Bradley Walsh, for a change. Fronts most things, doesn't he? So this has gone down very, very well. So I always thought this was going to do well, to tell you the truth, because the formula's so good. Originally came from America, didn't it, Gladiators, Scott?
Yes, the American Gladiators, I believe it was called. And I watched a couple episodes of it here or there. I wasn't like the biggest fan, but it was fun. It was fun to watch when I saw it. Yeah. So I would definitely watch that on BBC.
Were you aware that there was a British version? There was different ones all over the world?
I had no idea. I thought that the American Gladiators one was it. And wasn't that like in the 90s or something, I think?
Yeah,
or 2000s?
There was an Australian version too.
Yeah.
It's not back in America then. This hasn't happened in the States, the regeneration of the Gladiators.
Not yet, but you know, since we've said it, it'll pop up.
We brought it back in Australia.
Have you really? So it's
same time as you guys, yep.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, so it is happening. But this is how I remember them, Ian. This is the Gladiators from my youth. There they all are in their spandex with the sort of big hair, lots of oil, and some big smiles as well. Well, some smiles somewhere.
Well, the one guy looks like Klaus from the Scorpions.
That's Wolf.
He was the baddie. He was the one you booed.
Yeah, he was. So that you're absolutely right. That was indeed Wolf. Here he is. He's a bit closer up. Now his real name is Michael
Simmons.
Michael Van Wilk is his real name.
Hello.
But apparently he's sick of being a bad guy, everybody. So he's still very much around. He's 71 years of age, lives in New Zealand now, Matt, funnily enough, and he's trained his son. He wanted his son to join the cast of the new Gladiators. Sadly, he didn't make it. But Michael has been back. He's been back in the media at the age of 71. And he is suggesting that he, in fact, could be an ideal candidate to take over the lead role of the Doctor. He wants to be the 16th Doctor Who when Ncuti Gatwa leaves, Jack. Or ideally, I think he wants to sort of oust him out of the role because Michael isn't getting any younger. So he wants this role. He's going at it hard. Do you think Ncuti will be able to fight him off? I think he'd probably quite like that.
Well, I mean, I've never seen Gladiators, unfortunately. But you know what? It would be cool to have an older Doctor again. So I'm game for that, 100%.
So how do you think Wolf is looking now then, Ian? Have you seen a picture of Wolf for a while there? He is at 71 with his Under Armour on. He looks quite formidable there. Would you buy Wolf as the Doctor?
No, not really. He's yeah, I mean, he still looks good for his age. I mean, 70, he's still going strong. He looks good for 70, tell you the truth. You know what, right? I do respect the people that were the Gladiators in the 90s. That they did work very hard, and it was a huge success. And it's a shame it went the way of the dodo. Really, they brought it back now. But I've seen a couple of episodes of the new stuff, and quite frankly, then again, I am old. I don't think it was good as the old ones. But there you go. That's just what I think. Yeah.
I mean, I think Michael. Does he look 71? Probably not.
No, he doesn't. Yeah.
But to the best of my knowledge, Charlotte, he's not an actor. And ideally, you can't just have anybody playing Doctor Who.
He could play a good villain, a good Doctor Who villain. Yeah,
he could be he could be a guest star. I think that'd be fun, actually.
Maybe
a Christmas
he'd be a good
special, have him be a villain in the Christmas special one year.
Yeah.
Scott.
Would he be a good master, though? I mean,
no.
Not at
all.
Elizabeth's in the live chat
I don't know him.
and says it's getting more and more difficult to tell the silly Doctor Who stories from what is really happening with the show. Well, as the show goes on, you'll find out that that's pretty close to the truth. Crimpling Doubloon says, "I've not seen Gladiators, but I used to love It's a Knockout." Now this is slightly not as much pink water in Gladiators. There's a new Australian Gladiators. It's crap, says Doug. He's not keen on that.
The thing is with Gladiators is that it died very, very quickly as soon as it came out.
Oh, did it? It was big here for 6 or 7 years. Big show.
For about a year it lasted, and then as they had the posters, the huge posters, magazines, and all that sort of stuff they used to have. But it died very, very quickly.
So Scott, right? Did they in America? They actually called it the American Gladiators.
They sure did. It was called American. I believe it was called American Gladiator.
Because I always thought that over here we called it the American Gladiators to distinguish between our gladiators and
because we did get it on TV here as well. Yeah.
Oh no, they have to be ethnocentric on American television. Of course they do.
No.
Oh, it's American Gladiators, man.
I do remember.
That's how it is, don't they?
Yeah, well, I do have a quote here. I do have a quote here from Wolfian, who says, "I would really love to be considered for Doctor Who." To play a Doctor with attitude. You've already got the fan base. It would really take off. This is me putting it out to the universe. Wolf wants to be Doctor Who when they cast again. And,
they're not going to, mate. They're not going to. No chance. You got no chance.
Especially with Mr. Russell in charge.
Mr. Russell T, yeah. You know what? I remember, right, getting...
If you're limp-wristed,
during the 90s,
you may have a chance.
During the 90s, I remember on Saturdays, I always used to go partying, whatever, and really drunk and coming home. And 1 o'clock in the morning, they used to show the American Gladiators. And then after that, they used to say 911 with William Shatner. And my night was made. Drunk, sitting there in front of the TV, watching William Shatner talk a load of old nonsense. But yeah, that always reminds me of the American Gladiators, being drunk. Sorry, go ahead.
No, well, say this guy does get, an audition, and he's very bad at it. So then he would be the bad wolf. I'll be seeing you now.
Yeah.
Well,
Never coming back on the show. Dan won't have me on after that joke.
After being,
Have you heard Dan's jokes?
Yeah, exactly.
what do you mean by that? After he said, so after being pressed on that issue, he did say that if the role of the Doctor was out of the question, he would be happy to play one of his adversaries or whatever. So I am inclined to believe that Michael probably grew up watching Doctor Who and would love to play something in the show, which I think is actually quite sweet.
Oh,
and
make him wrestle on. Just make him wrestle on. He gets a one-off, and that's about it.
Yeah, I think we could stand that. Yeah, Wolf for a role in Doctor Who. Maybe that wouldn't be quite so painful as the other option. Slightly more disturbing though is this one. So for several years now, the much loved 12th Doctor actor Peter Capaldi has remained pretty tight-lipped when it comes to Doctor Who. Charlotte, you know, he's spoken now and again really, but in rather general ways. So he's never really nailed down anything. The guy is very much in demand. He's got a very busy life and career. He's a father and a grandfather and all those kinds of things. But of course, many of us view this actor in particular as the last great ambassador for the entire series. And during his time actually leading the show, they used to have him flying all over the world, didn't they, officially on world tours and things like that. And he was always very genial, very generous. And he's always indulged even the most obsessive of us fans. And I think it could be due in no small part to the fact that by his own admission, he was one of us, wasn't he? So I do think that people, when it comes to Peter Capaldi, when Peter speaks, particularly about Doctor Who, we tend to take it seriously. And we tend to listen. So,
because like you said, he's not one to talk a lot, and I think we all expected him being such a fan, and we knew he was a fan going in. That when he left the role, he would be very open, but like you said, he's been very careful and very considerate.
You know why, though, don't you?
And I was about to say, and we, as a fan base, we all have a feeling why. So
yeah, we know why.
There's a lot of context and backstory with Peter.
We because he's very professional. He's a very professional actor, and also he's not stupid. He's not going to tell you exactly what he thinks of this new era. He'd rather stay away and cherish the memories that he's had of being the Doctor, and also cherish what he thinks Doctor Who should be, rather than spill these beans on in public and get in trouble and talk whatever. He's a very professional person.
I think that I don't think that this is necessarily about this era of the actual show. I can't help but notice that whilst Peter has been very, very busy since 2017, I think that he's worked for everyone with the exception of the BBC. He's been on Netflix shows. He's done stuff for Apple. He's been on ITV and Channel 5, done lots of stage work, but I can't think of a single BBC thing I've seen him in since.
Because, well, there are rumours, aren't they, that he has spoken to his friends about what happened. He was very, well, this is just a rumour, right, and hearsay. I heard that he was very upset when they said he wasn't going to play the Doctor again. It wasn't his choice to leave. He wanted to do 2 more seasons or 3 more seasons because he loved being the Doctor. He was ousted out. Therefore, he's been quite quiet about the Doctor. He has done a couple of, well, correct me if I'm wrong, Dan. I think he's done a couple of interviews talking about the Doctor, but when you hear him talk about the Doctor, which I heard him, he was on the radio the last time I heard him, he was very nonplussed about it. You can see he was guarded about certain things and stuff like that. And the usual response, like, what do you think of Jodie? He'd say, I think she's very good. You know what I mean? You can tell there's a block there. So, all respect to Peter, man. I mean, he got the worst scripts, but he brought them to life because he's such a brilliant actor. You know what I mean? So, I wish he had 2 more seasons personally, because I think he was just getting there as the Doctor,
See, Peter, like everybody else, Jack, like a lot of other actors, I mean, one of the things that frustrates me immensely, and one of the reasons why I've dialed back quite a lot on using X myself, is because we get a lot of the opinions of actors their political beliefs in particular sort of rammed down our throats on there. And to be fair, we don't have to follow them. It is up to us. But it does kind of demystify these personalities quite a lot. But Capaldi he's never been like that. Not only does he not use social media to the best of my knowledge, but he's never used his, I don't want to say platform, but his position and that place that he's got in the affections of British people, and particularly Doctor Who fans. He's never exploited that and used that to hammer anything particularly home. He's an environmentalist, but he's never even pushed that particularly hard. This man isn't somebody I would describe as an ideologue. He seems to speak carefully and with dignity and with general all-round respect. I mean, could it be that he's simply because he's an older man, a man of a time where one simply didn't behave like that? Or is it just he knows better? Or what do you think?
He knows better.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with Ian. Yeah, he simply knows better. You know, he is an older gentleman, yes, but he's also very professional. And I'd never expect him, even if he had social media, to suddenly say anything about why he
anything contentious,
left Doctor Who or anything really. You know, because you know there's always going to be rumors or things that are not fully confirmed, but that you can probably say, oh, that probably did happen. But he's probably going to never outright say it because, you know, he's still in demand. He's still getting a lot of work. And, you know, he doesn't want to jeopardize that because, it's certainly not worth, losing your livelihood over it.
And because he chooses those words quite carefully, I feel that we collectively, whichever side of any aisle that we're on, when Capaldi speaks, we generally seem to listen. And so a few days ago, all eyes were on this brand new quote from Peter Capaldi, which turned up on Facebook on a page called Whovian Fanbase. They ran with this, a fresh quote from Peter Capaldi. It says, and this is Peter speaking out specifically about Doctor Who here, on inclusivity within Doctor Who, Ian. So these are some of the self-same topics that you were kind of pointing to. And here it says that if you're, and this is, the quote is, if you're going to cry that the show is becoming progressive to make more people feel welcome, then you aren't a fan. Crying that Doctor Who is woke now is pathetic. I don't have time to sign or take photos with those nonsense people. We are not in the 60s. The Doctor and the Master have now rightfully been played by Jodie and Michelle. What that would have to do with anything, I don't know. When you have people come up to you and moan about those castings, you switch off and want to just leave. Russell is going to make the show relevant for everyone. If you don't like that, don't watch. So this was published on the 2nd of February 2024 by Whovian Fanbase. And
did he actually say that?
Well, immediately, this is the thing. Immediately, this set off alarm bells for people, because those, you've probably spotted, those are uncharacteristically strong words. Now, I believe wherever one stands on these issues, whether you think that Doctor Who is too woke or not, whether one counts oneself as progressive or not, those are very, very strong words, Charlotte. He's calling people pathetic.
I don't think
nonsense.
Yeah, it's incredibly combative, that language.
Yes.
And it's incredibly what we've heard
like
a lot in the last 5 years across fandoms, not even in the Doctor Who fandom, of if you don't like it, get out.
Yeah.
If you're not a fan, those sort of terms have been used to, let's be fair, march people out of fandoms, to attack people in fandoms, and to gatekeep. When it comes to certain people. So I saw this floating, and I don't believe for a second Peter actually
You saw this too. Yeah, lots of people in the live chat have said it doesn't sound like him, and neither did it me when I run upon this on Facebook either. But you think to yourself, Matt, it's one thing, because we see lots of times, what I encounter quite a lot putting this show together, and when we chat about it behind the scenes as well, we think, what are we going to cover? And you come across various items and interviews and how they're reported, not just on social media either, in the legacy media. We see a lot of interviews that people give actors, and they get sort of boiled down, like 3-page interviews get turned into quotes of sort of 3 lines that just work better on websites or that play better on social media. People click on them, get all outraged, or they get combative. Sorry. So we see this information kind of get pulped and processed in different ways, don't we? And I thought that maybe this was an example of that.
He didn't say it. It doesn't sound anything like
look,
Peter.
I mean, the fact of the matter is, there's no source, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't. It just says, "Oh, Peter Capaldi speaks out." What? Where did he speak out on? It wasn't on radio. It wasn't on TV. It wasn't on the red carpet. It's a load of bull. And the thing is, I have seen Peter Capaldi actually speak in public, and he is a gentleman. People have actually said, you know, I didn't like Matt Smith. I thought he was an awful doctor and that. And Peter's reply was, "Oh, I'll let Matt know that," you know.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
You know, and so the thing is, you know, it's bull. And unfortunately, you know, it sounds more like the current showrunner and that team than anyone that's actually, you know, got respect for the show. So, you know,
it's just like you said, Matt. That my first instinct as somebody who creates content, reports on this, Jack, and you probably feel of a similar mind to me, is when I see things like this, I think my mind goes to the same place that Matt does. You think, okay, well, where's the source of this? Yeah. And lots of the comments on the Facebook page for Whovian Fanbase were asking the same thing. Source. There is no actual source for this. And you could say, well, you know, does it really matter? This is one page on one social media platform. But this particular page has got 40,000 followers. Big Finish has only got like 50,000 followers. So a lot of people follow this page.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do see this a lot on X as well, where people will throw quotes out there and they don't necessarily source it. And, you know, especially when something's so off hook as well, you know, something that doesn't completely make sense. You're like, blimey, okay, where's this actually coming from? And something like a quote like that could be, you know, very damaging, obviously, for Peter as well, you know. And obviously, when it's posted on social media, you know, as you say, people start commenting and all of that stuff. And it does lead to arguments. And it is just simply to divide people. And people on both sides of the argument, whether they're, you know, progressive or not, it just causes arguments. And to be honest, I feel like it is just done for the drama, the clout, or just for the attention. And it is shameful. And
that would be the last thing. I've never met Peter Capaldi, Jack, but I think that would be the last thing that he would want.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched interviews with him and you know, read stuff that he said about various stuff. And he said, you know, he's an environmentalist, but I've never seen him openly attack anyone like that. I think it's very out of character.
Lots of people crying fake here in the live chat. People seeing through it very, very quickly. CTC says, "You pick your battles in life." I couldn't agree more, young man. Well said.
He's in a new show, isn't he, Dan? I thought I saw him. He's not playing a cop in some new show. I can't remember.
Yeah. Over on, I think that's on Apple TV. Yeah, so right. after a little bit of digging, though, Ian, it turns out yes, no source would be provided by Whovian Fanbase, and I don't usually round on accounts like this, but they have a considerable following, and they were pressed. They were asked very politely what the source for this was, where Peter had said this. They wouldn't and couldn't communicate further, and eventually they turned off all comments. Somebody did manage to track something down. The nearest we could find was a recent statement from Peter Capaldi when he said this. He said, "The thing about Doctor Who is it's at its best when it reflects the culture and the times that it's in, because it's a very successful show. Sometimes it just digs its own groove of success. And I think it's time for us to be more recognizable of being in the 21st century." Now, that is a fairly recent quote from just a few weeks ago. That's the nearest that anybody can find. But even so, that is, in my view, that is nothing like the quote that Whovian Fanbase.
How many followers have they got? How many followers they got?
40-odd thousand. 40.
You see, that could be faked as well. You know, one thing I've been noticing about these people in Hollywood.
Oh no! Excuse me. Sorry. This quote is actually from a proper red carpet thing. So we have Peter on camera saying this.
No. And what I'm saying is that the actual Doctor Who thing with all those followers. One thing I've noticed about, you know, people in Hollywood, and I hate to say these words, the far left, is that they do cheat. They do cheat when it comes to ratings and likes and followers and stuff like that. So the thing is, though, Doctor Who's not pulling in. Well, the last episode it pulled in a bit, but not as much as everybody thought it was going to be, and I reckon it's just going to get worse. So they're trying their best to hang on. They're trying their best to fool us. They're trying to cheat us to coming back to Doctor Who and all that. And this is exactly what they're doing. Hence why they got that quote put forward, and everybody's thinking it's a fake. You know, I'd be pretty surprised if he did say it. You know? My instinct
is, Ian, that this quote from Whovian fanbase is completely and utterly the invention of this actual page. I don't even think it's something that they've been sent. I think they have created that, knowing that people listen to and respect this man. I think it's.
It just goes to show the sort of people that Whovian fan base are. You know, if the fact is that they've kept it up, but they've stopped all comments. You know, that's just that's obvious. It's obvious to me that they've just tried to incite something.
Well, it's media, isn't it?
I've said before on this show, there are so many idiots out there saying leave the show if you're not happy. I'm not leaving the show. They can get stuffed as far as I'm concerned. It's my show. I love it.
The fact that he would sign off, that a former star of Doctor Who would sign off with the idea that if you don't like it, don't watch it, I agree, complete lunacy. CTC, this quote is nonsense. Peter doesn't sound like an 18-year-old SJW J-bot type. I quite agree. James Post says, seeing what's happened recently, it's made me appreciate Matt Smith and Capaldi more.
Charlotte, same here.
The show great as Doctors, and neither of them. That's right. Matt doesn't say anything political or incendiary either, does he, Charlotte?
Well, no, up until a long time, even Tennant didn't really say anything political, but obviously of late that's changed. But the thing is, and this is what annoys me, we are currently in a time where we have people on the show who are stirring the pot. We have Russell, for God's sake, when he's on one of his fits, deciding to be an idiot on social media. We've got plenty of other sources. So we don't need to be adding fake ones.
No, but that's what they do, though, isn't it? That's what they do.
Annoyed me about this when I saw it floating around.
But that's what they do, don't they? Because they know they're in a losing battle. They know they're losing. These people that want to shove all this crap down our throats and expecting
they want
us
to change the world, and it's
not
changing.
Exactly.
I just can't believe the audacity, Scott, of Peter Capaldi may not be on social media, but for all they know, the people who represent him may do, his agents, his publicity people, and they put this out there on a major social media platform like Facebook. Total and utter fabrication. What is it about the modern age that there are people of our number, that these are our peers, they're no better or worse, no greater or lesser than you or I, they're just other Doctor Who fans, feel that they can completely fabricate something and attribute it to a much loved personality and respected actor? What's happening to us?
Well, I agree with Ian totally, and that's propaganda. That is propaganda at its finest. I mean, it goes back all the way through time. But look at propaganda of dictatorships and things like that, and then look at it today. I mean, it's the same thing. And if you look at the two quotes, the one that we believe that is a fake, and then the one that is the actual. I mean, the actual quote from him, it is a very gentlemanly and very eloquent way of saying, this is not your father or your grandfather's Doctor Who, now is it?
Yeah.
As opposed to, oh, well, you don't like it, just get out. Well, that it's definitely not a Peter Capaldi thing, unless he was having an Alzheimer's day, not wishing that on anybody at all, but unless he was having a really cantankerous day. Yeah, just get off my lawn. Bugger off already.
He is left wing, but then again, most actors are. Nigel David said there is no way a lifelong true fan like Peter Capaldi would call people or fans pathetic. Couldn't agree more. Whereas Bunch of Wallace says, I wouldn't be surprised if he had said that, and that actors can fumble easily. I think modern actors can.
Yeah. But you know that quote, Dan.
Can, Ian.
Yeah, you know that quote, Dan, that you read out when he was on the red carpet. That sounds like Peter. He was being very middle, wasn't he? He wasn't. He had to say something that would satisfy both ends, and to the best of his ability, that's what he said. Do you know what I mean?
And look, he was letting us know where he lies with it. You could tell that was quite, I won't say a progressive statement, but it was very much it was more left wing than right wing, and that's fine. You know,
I think it's in the middle. I think it's in the middle.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But so it was his view, but offered in a very in the kind of language that would speak somewhere to all of us.
I tell you what, though, mate. I tell you, my respect for David Tennant has completely and utterly disappeared because of what he's done recently. For Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi, my admiration has gone up sky high for those two, because they've kept their mouths shut. They know they have to work. They know they have to find a balance between doing what's right and doing what's needed. And those guys are not mouthing anyone. They're just keeping silent and they're moving forward. And that's why they're both successful. He's got a TV show as a cop, and he's in, was it Dragon thing, whatever it is. They're making crap loads of money. Yeah, so.
Yeah, good point. Hugh Grant is the next doctor, says Peter Capaldi. Comes
I hope so.
A Bunch of Wallace. Thank you, our correspondent there, Bunch of Wallace. Thank you for that hard line truth. I agree largely, and I agree with David Tennant. David Tennant is a bit of a hero of mine. Fabulous actor. I've loved practically everything he's done. The minute he opens his mouth about real world talk, well, the thing is, he doesn't speak that often. He doesn't speak very much out of turn. Someone very close to him quite often speaks on subjects that they have really quite a limited perspective of, in my opinion, and recently kind of found that out the hardest of ways, and that wasn't easy to watch either, because she was kind of eaten by her own in the finish, and I understand it caused us some distress, which you don't want anybody to go through that. But in some ways, you kind of live by the sword and all that. Some people just have to find it out the hard way, and that in many respects, these opinions are best kept to oneself, or it's certainly, in an ideal world, we should get back into the habit of, if not keeping them to ourselves, then not lecturing other people about why they must believe as you do. I think that's how people are becoming unstuck. That's and for anybody who's making up stuff and putting it on social media, I think it's mental, absolutely mental. Unnecessary discord, disgusting, and definitely not fans, says Peter Harrington. To make a fake post claiming that Russell T Davies says something about wheelchair users as well, totally made up. I can believe it. If they decide they want to have the knives out for somebody, whether they be technically of the same political belief as they are, if they take against them for some reason, then that is that. That is that. I stick clear of Who fan groups, as they're not as inclusive as they say they are, says Heretic. I deleted my Twitter account due to toxic fans there. Yeah, I think that social media, which I've got. I use social media.
The only reliable one that you can really check out is Type 40.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah, come on, pay me later.
Like most things, social media is best used in moderation. Whilst I wouldn't say taken with a pinch of salt, I mean certainly pages like Whovian Fanbase, I think that is absolutely disgraceful. There are other pages around on there, Jack, for example, that put up stuff that's simply not to my taste. Like they put up lots of sort of memes and argumentative posts and things that are deliberately charged, sometimes with politics, but they do so with a tongue in cheek, and you can see that they're kind of they're poking the bear a little bit. Not to my taste, but they never attribute quotes to actors that they haven't actually said. It's a big difference.
Yeah, and as I said earlier, it can be very damaging, not just for the actor, but those posts are deliberately done just to cause arguments in the comments, and then when that page, the Whovian fan base, will call out on it, and they're constantly getting bombarded, like, okay, where's this coming from? They turn off the comments. That is a telltale sign that it's a load of BS. It's a load of bullcrap.
Shocking.
Our public
absolutely
broadcaster
shocking.
do it all the time.
Oh, it's getting so hot in the kitchen. I've got to turn off the comments.
AC.
Thank you for this comment too, bunch of Wallies. No, if you dislike the show for certain reasons, it shows that you love the show. Offers Nigel, Dave. You've got Keegan in the live chat. It's good to see you waving at us on the panel here. Good to see you too, Keegan. And who else is here? The Time Muddler says they are called lovies for a reason. Usually say any platitude to please people. I hadn't looked at it quite like that, but you're right. Capaldi also being a fan would never say that. So people are picking up on this instantly. The whole show has always been part of society and has always improved it. I think Doctor Who has generally been of the benefit to British culture, certainly. But Simon believes, following on from that, Russell T Davies is pushing rather too hard, and I think a lot of people would agree with that. Yeah, I'm sad to say. So yeah, I don't think you need the psychic paper to tell us that could be a steaming great pile of you know what. But even though that is funny and we can sort of laugh it off, I really do think that if people are going to be as brazen as to make up such utter BS like that, I think if things like that
shows a lot of desperation, doesn't it?
Shows a lot of shit.
And I think unless it's nipped in the bud, things could, unless it's called out for what it is. Unfortunately, a lot of Doctor Who fans were very, very quick to jump on them for that and sort of demand them to substantiate that claim. I'm glad that people did that rather than let it fly, because that would, the more people let things like fly, the more it'll happen.
It's not about Doctor Who. It's about the bigger picture, isn't it? These people want to normalize what they believe into the world and trying to make the next generation believe all this stuff. It's a very dangerous thing they're doing. I mean, taking Doctor Who aside just a tad, I mean, that's what they're doing. It's going through all our pop culture and everything. So, thank God there are people with common sense to know that quote was absolute BS. So,
Yeah, I was really shocked by that.
I can honestly start seeing this all starting to die off. This whole
I hope so.
Just like you said, the whole thing with culture.
They're very powerful, though.
They're dying. Yeah. They're still determined, aren't they?
Yeah,
but I can see it's dying.
Well, when we vote with our wallets, as we've heard people say, when you vote with your wallets, you'll see that and I don't know the actual percentage numbers, but the vast numbers of people who used to vote with their wallets and who used to just go, here's the money, I'll buy this, I'll buy that. And then all of a sudden, now when the people who are actually getting their wallets out aren't even the people that they're even preaching, from that base, half of those people don't even want it. So when you have the 1% going, here's my money, well, that's not going to get Star Wars to float. It's not going to get Star Trek to float. It's not going to get... look, Discovery's in its last season. Discovery's the reason why Doomcock exists. Okay? I mean, so,
David Mullen, the final word on this, I think, has to go to David Mullen, who says that Peter Capaldi isn't Malcolm Tucker.
No, he isn't. He isn't.
Whilst I think that could be fun. Yeah, I'm pretty glad that he isn't as well. Lots more BS to come up here as we make our way through silly season. Some contentious and some plain ridiculous topics coming right up next here on Type 40 Live. But that's after we serve you a spoonful of the warm and the tingly. Yes, those golden voices and golden moments from Doctor Who family members, past here on TV, past commercial television, when they were out there flogging the wares of other people in the Type 40 Live Doctor Who ad break. See how many of these you remember from back in the day. We'll see you back here in a couple of minutes.
Woke up this morning feeling fine. There's something special on my mind. There's something special.
Kellogg's Special K is for grown-ups who don't want to grow anymore. Those big crunchy flakes and that delicious malty taste make the Special K breakfast something special.
Something tells me I'm into something
When I pay good money for saucepans, I expect them to last. Don't you? Now, Prestige Lifetime is guaranteed to last 10 years. And that means thousands of hours on your cooker, but a lot of time in the washing up. That's why only Prestige Lifetime have thicker stainless steel bodies, solid copper bottoms, and real teak handles. Excuse me.
You can put the dinner on. I'll be home in 20 minutes.
For looks that last, it's Lifetime. Only from Prestige.
Now, Mr. Busby, you say everyone is laughing at you?
Yes, they don't believe a word I say.
And what is it you say?
Well, yeah, you promise you won't laugh?
What? Oh, come now. You can trust me.
Yeah, all right. Well, when I tell them that a cheap rate local call dialed direct on their own phone costs less than 5 pence for 9 minutes...
Sorry, what was that?
A local call costs less than 5 pence for 9 minutes. Here.
5 pence for... You must be joking.
I'm not joking.
Yeah, Rover 600, automatic. Nightfire red. 14 months old. Leather seats, beige to match the interior. Yes, we've got one. Has it got the walnut dash?
At Rover dealers, we believe you should have the same choice of used cars as new ones, which is why every dealer has access to thousands of quality-checked used Rovers.
Yeah, what's this about you writing off CJ's Rover?
Including just the one you need.
Hey, this is Type 40 Live, where we cover all things Doctor Who, the world's longest-running, best-loved sci-fi and fantasy TV series, both on and off screen. And this is a cheeky one. Yes, I'm Dan Hadley. You're watching live on YouTube, Rumble, and Facebook. It's not all about us, of course, so let's have those comments in the live chat there. Back here with the panel. We've got Matt Pott here. We've got Charlotte Shields too. Ian David Deers, the mega geek, right underneath me there. He's probably still in the toilet. Struggling with an intruder, Scott. Scott,
you got the mic on.
Scott in the game closet and Jack in the nerd den. We're all tucked away in closets and dens and basements and studios and everything else. Where are you? Let us know there in the live chat. Okay, maybe you're at the auction house. Apparently, auction houses are still a thing. It doesn't all happen online, but Doctor Who auctions, they continue up and down the country as people drag collectibles out from the loft or from the stores. I think some of them get nicked from BBC premises. I don't know, but this one has been up on the BBC website this week, so this must be legit. With the headline: Doctor Who auctioneer relied on nerds for Dalek price estimate. So we've got a couple of Daleks here that are going to be up for auction. They've been stored in somebody's living room in Gloucester. They're fully working-sized, full-size models, one in gold there and one in yellow, and they're going to be sold at, let me get this right, John Rolfe Auctions in Tetbury, and the guide price is between 500 and 800 quid a piece. Does that sound like a decent price on a Dalek? What do you think of that, Jack? Would you think that's about right?
Well, I mean, if he was after advice from the nerds, I would have said, maybe a fiver, so I'll be able to swoop up and grab them myself, you know?
Do the lasers work? Because if they do...
Oh, we don't know.
The thing is, though, it's not a lot for a Dalek, tell you the truth, but how do you get it home? I mean, does it break up into pieces? You know, can you... or do you need...
question.
Yeah, so...
I think bits can be unbolted. Is there any Dalek owners on the panel or in the live chat?
I don't know. They're not screen used, are they? They're just people who have made them. Is that right?
Well, that's the thing, because they're being sold. They're being sold here as if they're Dalek props. And these are being put up for auction. Yeah. But the weird thing is they are just homemade things. And so how would you value this, man? Because if something's been on screen, and this is what I mean by silly season, if something's been on screen, it's a proper Dalek, and you can see they'd come with a certificate of authenticity or something, Scott. That's how it tends to work, isn't it, when things are auctioned off from movies, TV shows, and...
Oh, absolutely, because I've considered selling my TARDIS. I couldn't say, oh, hey, yeah, this was on screen. Yeah. So, as I recall, when they made what was the Peter Davison one? Was that
Resurrection?
Was that Resurrection? I remember when they tossed those ones off the top of the second floor and they crashed.
Yeah.
I had heard something that back then that they cost, I believe it was 1,200 quid to build them, and that was then.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
So I don't know.
It's a good price.
I think it's a good price for them, but
Yeah.
but considering they're not screen used, if they were
Exactly.
screen used, it would be at least £5,000 at the very least.
Yeah, yeah. Did he make them?
No, he didn't. But this is what I'm confused about. So this guy has said we rely on nerds. I can't pretend I know everything. No auctioneer does, which I suppose is fair enough. It's the first time I've handled one of these creatures. But we have lots of Doctor Who buffs who I love. Buffs. Does anybody ever use the word buff? This is why I think there's a touch of BS about this as well. They get in touch and give me different pieces of information, and I try and match it, but it's nearly impossible. It says the Red Dalek may, the amount of ambiguity in this is unbelievable. The Red Dalek may have formed part of an exhibition at Longleat House, which ran for nearly 30 years, but he's not even sure about that. So this guy, he doesn't know what they are. He's got no idea where they're from. He's got no idea how much they're worth.
Doesn't know the real history. The colors of his scarf are wrong. I mean,
But he's selling them. But he's selling them anyway. And BBC News are reporting this. I couldn't believe it when I started reading this article, Matt, because it's one thing in a print magazine or a newspaper. They've got columns to fill. You know, they say, "Oh, must it a slow news day? You got to fill the columns with something." There's nothing factual that I can see about this whatsoever. And this bloke who's selling these Daleks has no idea what's going on or what they are. Is it just me that just thinks this is ridiculous?
Yeah. Also, I'm looking at that head that he's. I know that's from the newer series. That midget guy was wearing it, but like that looks like it's been done by a fan. You know,
Yeah.
There's just something that it looks off on the whole thing. It just no, I wouldn't touch this with a barge pole. You know, and plus as soon as you said that $1,000 for a Dalek. I've always wanted a Dalek. I've always wanted a Cyberman head. But those things are going for a damn mint and they're fan-made, So, yeah.
Looks that way to me. And my suspicions were confirmed because they come... Get this. So not only do you get the Daleks, but what does it say? So you also in the same collector's sale was a jacket. This is the exact words. A jacket similar to the one with Colin Baker.
Well, she's similar to Billie Piper too, isn't she?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd buy her, but
she's similar to Billie Piper.
Would you like to buy something that is a little bit like something that somebody wore on television 40 years ago, but looks more like a dressing gown you could probably pick up in Primark for about £8?
Looks like something a cosplayer would wear.
No. If a proper cosplayer would have better outfit than that.
Yeah.
It would be more screen accurate if a proper cosplayer was having a go.
I think they got several of their Grand's robes and just kind of thrown them together. What do you think of this? Oh, you look lovely, dear.
This is what I've been wondering. Do you think it's because word has got around that Doctor Who is a big deal, it's worth big money, and that they think that there's somebody out there who will pay big-ish money for literally anything if they say, look, there's a chance this may have once been somewhere near one of the actors who might have at some point been in Doctor Who.
It's like
been in the same space.
All that stuff is like if Doctor Who were purchased from Wish.
Yeah. That's so it just stood out like a sore thumb to me. We've got some collectors obviously in the live chat and people who'd love to snap up a Dalek. Shipping would be massive, says Lord Thoth. How would you get them home? Says the Timescales. Ride it. Could you ride a Dalek home to Battersea, Ian? Do you think that? How do you think that would go?
Is it all downhill?
You'll need a bloody van or something. Surely they must come apart or something.
No. You tie it to the hitch on the back of the car.
Yeah, Richard Brooks is quite right. Dalek 6388 would know. Unfortunately, John's not in the live chat tonight. Maybe we should get in touch with him. And ask him. Matt, you patriarch, says Richard Brooks. I don't know where that's come from, but he is. Yeah, you're quite right. He is. What's wrong with that? Good evening, everyone, says John Yordan. Richard Brooks says that people could just buy one from this planet Earth and get a great one. It'd cost you a little bit more, but buy now, 500 quid. CTC says, yes, I'm glad it's not just me. I'm trying not to be cynical about these things. And obviously, it's their money, Jack, at the end of the day. If people want to pay for stuff like this, then it's sort of on them, maybe?
Maybe, but I guess, when someone's trying to say that, the screen use props and all that, and, there's some fans out there, that'll take the word for it because, they might think, oh, look, looks cool, and they'll throw money at it, but then they'll find out, I don't know, maybe straight after or years later, that no, they've been scammed and they could have got it for a lot cheaper. And I don't know, it's a shame that there's been a bit of a fib being told there. But
I think so. I mean, I think back to sort of members of my family who, over the years, knowing I was a Doctor Who fan and collecting comic books and all that kind of thing, Jack, have said to me, like, I got you this for your birthday or for Christmas, and they say, I knew you'd like it because it says collector's item in big letters across the top. That's all it needs. Just as long as they put collector's item, it doesn't matter that there's been 800,000 of these things in the average high street. Charlotte, it's if you plaster something with the right wordage, then you can sell it. And I don't think that this auction is that far removed from that kind of territory, and a little bit naughty.
I don't think it's. I think if you try somewhere like Sotheby's or somewhere like that, you're more likely to get the genuine article.
Yeah, good stuff. Suckers, Peter Harrington says they're suckers, and they may well be. Could be there's one born every minute. Oh, what have you got there?
That's more authentic. That's more authentic. Screen used, by the way, 500 quid. So just. Yes.
I suspect, Scott, this could be a lie of sorts.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Whatever next. Well, this next one, I tell you what, you could watch the skies for stories like this all you like. You can think you've heard it all. And you may even call into question the authenticity of certain quotes. But this next item does actually come from the horse's mouth or the cow's mouth, or certainly something to do with the farmyard. This one comes from Russell T Davies, unbelievably, the showrunner of Doctor Who, the boss man. That's it. Yes, let's do that. Yes, the boss man himself, the formerly very, very well respected Russell T Davies, has been coming out with all sorts of stuff lately. But he went on a bit of a publicity drive for the 60th anniversary, and I know that in a great many cases we didn't get as much as we could have got, Ian. We've complained on the show about that several times. But there were extraneous items which I never got round to. Specifically, there was some commentary tracks over on the BBC websites, and that's where this next story comes from. And it actually involves, believe it or not, this guy. So Peter Purvis, he's the writer, TV personality, presenter, and actor who played Stephen Taylor, if you remember, in the classic series of Doctor Who, opposite William Hartnell all those years ago. Very, very well-loved figure in British popular culture. Turned 85 just last week. Many happy returns to Peter. He's been back in the bosom of Doctor Who fandom over the last few years. Now, least of all because of all the archive stories being released onto various home media formats, Charlotte. That means that these characters that were sort of dim and distant memories for the few people who could remember the era for so long, now we can all go and watch these stories, and we can see Peter and all of his co-stars there, Maureen O'Brien, who was Vicky, obviously. We can see them playing out their stories with great dignity back in the day, earning a crust and cranking it out on the weekly there. Peter was even back on screen late last year for Tales of the TARDIS, again with Maureen O'Brien. Once again, they were both playing Stephen and Vicky, companions of the First Doctor, reunited aboard this memory TARDIS. It was also sweet It was maybe a little bit slapdash, a little bit cheap, but it was done with such dignity and such charm. A great comeback for a classic character who hadn't been seen on screen for 56, 57 years and played by the original actor. I mean, look at those smiles. You can't. I know they're actors, but you can't fake stuff like that. I was touched by this. Were you touched by this, Ian? Do you like Peter Purvis as much as you do Fraser?
I do have a lot of respect for him. I actually met him once, a long time ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, very, very long time ago. He's a nice chap. I mean, as far as I knew him, I don't know him that well, but I actually met him when I was doing post-production. To tell you the truth, I've watched a few of these and I hate them now. I think they're just a big waste of our time. And
these Tales of the TARDIS?
Yeah. I watched 3 and that was enough for me. More I think about it, more I think how cheap the BBC was to not give us proper stuff. They just gave us this, and a lot of people like it, but I just think it was a big waste of time personally. But anyway, I do like him. He's a good actor.
Simon Anthony's also met Peter, but he was 3 foot taller than me, he says. There you go.
Quite tall man.
Yeah, good. What's he say here? Maureen O'Brien wanted nothing to do with Doctor Who. That's correct, CTC. She did it for several years. Now we can't get rid of her. Yeah, Pete, yeah, you can
when
sort of
she used to do the audio
really
commentaries, she used to just totally dismiss it. It was amazing. I actually couldn't listen to them because she was just so dismissive of it. And all of a sudden, she just loves it again. It's like, yeah, right.
Money changes you as a person. You know what I mean? Come on, I mean, no disrespect. I love Paul McGann, but there was a point where Paul McGann was like scared to do the conventions, wasn't he? He was scared he was going to be typecast. He didn't know what he was going to let himself into. But once he started doing it, he embraced it because it's one of the things people remember him by. So
fear of the unexpected, isn't it? And a worry, I suppose. That obviously that many people who are looking to see you rather than the character. How could one possibly live up? And but Stephen Taylor, as played by Peter Purvis. Obviously, Peter went on to be one of the longest-running Blue Peter presenters. I think he was on that show for around 10 years, and then hosted the Crufts DAWG show for a number of years as well, and recently has returned to acting in several things. So even though he's 85 years old, he's still very much out there taking on new projects, and was filming his new film on his birthday. But this week, Screen Rant chose to go with this story. Now, I didn't know about this because I hadn't heard those Russell T Davies commentaries on the specials last year. So this was completely new to me. And the headline says, Russell T Davies' original Doctor Who companion return idea would have hurt the 60th anniversary, coming from Screen Rant. So you dig in a little deeper and you think, hurt it? What can he possibly have wanted to do? Well, it turns out that Russell T Davies, when he was putting together the 60th anniversary specials, particularly the Giggle, if you remember, the Giggle brought back Mel, didn't it? Played by Bonnie Langford. Nice surprise. She was fabulous. It was lovely to see her. Well, originally, she wasn't the only person who was going to be there working at the new Unit HQ from the Doctor's past. Originally, Russell T Davies was going to bring back Stephen Taylor as played by Peter Purvis too. But the idea was, now this is what I can't get my head around. Peter Purvis, we weren't going to actually see him initially. He was going to bring back Stephen Taylor, but Stephen would be disguised as a giant cow who now works for Unit. And stay with me. I know. And so the idea was that so Stephen would be disguised as a cow. He's working at Unit, and then, of course, when the Celestial Toymaker appears and sort of makes his play to win the game against the Doctor, then 85-year-old Stephen would lurch into action. His exact words would jump into action and ready to fight. Charlotte, you're laughing. You can't.
I'm doing something. Yeah.
They're in for a bit of a surprise. Hey, all I can say is they're in for a bit of a surprise if they try to milk him.
Yes.
I'm confused. So he's going to be disguised as a cow?
Yes.
And then the Toymaker was
a giant cow.
Yeah. Sorry, I missed that vital detail. He's going to be disguised as a giant cow.
Yes. Yes.
And the toy maker would make him human again.
Well, apparently not. Stephen's actually there undercover as the giant cow.
He jumped out of the cow suit. I think he's been watching.
Top Secret? Is it like that?
Yeah. Like the Val Kilmer movie from back in the day.
I think he's been watching too much Fringe, just a little bit, because the cow. And,
oh yeah, with what's his name?
Could that be it? So then he was gonna jump into action, and Stephen was gonna help fight off.
Is this true?
We've lost Charlotte. We've lost Charlotte.
This is completely and utterly true. Russell T Davies,
really?
Yes, did conceive of this idea, and this was going to be part of his story. Now, bear in mind, this was the same episode that brought us the concept of bi-regeneration, which I know everybody loves. Everybody's taken to that.
Yeah.
The idea that all the different incarnations of the Doctor have all woken up and are suddenly alive. This is on the same commentary track that he's talking about this. So the bombshell about Stephen Taylor being disguised as a giant cow working at Unit HQ has understandably managed to get under the radar. Jack, you're very quiet. You seem somewhat stunned.
Yeah, I'm just trying to process the Unit HQ with a giant cow walking around.
No, do you know what's even better? I've just got an image. Do you know when the toy maker makes his appearance with Spice Girls? Were we going to have the cow in the background while he was dancing and singing "Spice Up Your Life"?
Yeah.
Is it supposed to moo along? I'm not sure.
Ooh. Yeah, so you could say that, to be fair, the giggle was not the most restrained and underplayed of episodes of Doctor Who. It was pretty out there. But for all that was within that 60 minutes, a giant cow working for Unit HQ may have stood out. I think that would have represented. I think that in this instance, Screen Rant, who I'm not in a habit of agreeing with everybody, they may indeed be right. This could have impacted the drama in some way. I fear, Ian. You're a screenwriter and a director, Ian. So would you have you ever considered this in one of your screenplays? A giant cow in.
Well, what do you think? If Russell T, seriously, if this is a true story, Russell T has lost his mind.
Have you ever thought of a spin-off, Ian? Rebecca Cow.
Yeah.
She jumps out of a cow suit.
The only thing that I could think of that is of any sense at all. That it could have been a reference to Stephen's line in the Time Meddler, where the Doctor picks up a Viking helmet and Stephen suggests rather playfully that it could be a space helmet for a cow. But that's a stretch. Maybe Russell was going there. Maybe it was a reference to this one line. You think that may be me reaching out of desperation there, Matt? I think you could be right. I think, it's...
I just want someone to take it away from him. I really do.
Cow pie of the Daleks, says Retro Doc Gary Akers. Sam says, hello, I'm late. Sorry, I'm late. What is this madness? How are we going to catch him up on this one, Charlotte? I've got no idea.
He must have been joking, surely. He must have been joking. There's no way someone like Russell could be
that's what I thought.
I'm going to work this into an episode of mine. I have to now. I just have to work it in somehow. Hey, I had RoboCop on my show 2 weeks ago. I'm putting a cow in, damn it. I have to put a cow in now.
Well, he couldn't be a bull, could he? They have to have something like transgender.
It just doesn't make any sense unless he's truly lost his mind.
Neither did the bi-regeneration. He was quite serious about that as well. Disguised as a cow. Just checking, is it April Fool's Day? Asks Tony Farrell. Move it on over, units, suggests the timescales. They've got their ideas from Top Secret. Yeah, another one for Top Secret from Peter Harrington. Would he have been the front or the back? It's a pretty reasonable question, Simon. I'd like to think that, Peter is a distinguished...
one.
Peter is a distinguished figure of British showbiz, so he would have to be the front. Like it makes.
Well, if the toy maker would have shot the cow, would have he bi-generated into a horse and a cow? I don't know.
Yeah,
I've got nothing. I mean, I know he's not a Time Lord, but come on.
Corville is in the live chat, and he suggests, I like the idea of bringing back Stephen Taylor as a villain, as Purvis himself has suggested. You see, though, making a bit too much sense there. You see, Corville, you see your mistake there. You're thinking reasonably, and you're thinking about what's feasible for the character.
I think this would have worked better if they'd all celebrated at the end of the episode with a glass of milk.
Moo become one, says Crimpling Doubloon. A Cravendale advert. It could have been sponsored by Craven. I mean, obviously, the big question is at this point: does Russell T Davies grow his own weed, or could he have dropped a couple of edibles, gone down that road? There's obviously something's happening here. Should we have greater?
He's sniffing his own farts, is what he's doing.
That's what it is. This could be. Some of us could view this as cause for concern, Charlotte. So, will you sleep at night knowing this now, or do you think this is a worrying indicator for the future of Doctor Who?
I don't know. That's the problem. But also, I'm just thinking maybe that's why the TARDIS is so big. Like Stephen was meant to sneakily get in the TARDIS, and then at the end of the special, we would have heard a moo, and that was the hint that he was hiding in there.
It could be
That's
what the
why
ramp.
it's so big.
Could that be what the ramp was for after all?
Maybe.
I think that Russell's been dialing this phone number, 202-456-1414, and he's been asking the gentleman on the other end, "Hey, I need an idea." The gentleman on the other end says, "Hey, how about a cow?" Of course, the gentleman on the other end of the phone, and that phone number is to the White House. So you know. Who he's getting his ideas from. It's from Joe Biden. That's who it's from. How about a cow?
This is how I prefer to remember Stephen Taylor, certainly for the time being. Ian, I'd actually love to see Peter back on the show proper. I quite enjoyed the Tales from the TARDIS thing, but I'd like to see him back on the show, a return with dignity. John Yulden offers, we could now be clearly in an area where mediocrity is commonplace with the scripts and is accepted. No accountability or competition to produce the best anymore.
Yeah, it's not about that anymore, is it?
Well, we can't say we'll be forgetting this anytime soon. But some dignity, please, to our legends. Peter Purvis turned 85 years old last week, and I think that if he is to return to Doctor Who, he deserves a little bit better than being being under the or over the others.
Did he actually comment to this?
Not yet. I have sent him a DM on to his official Facebook page. It is his. It's not. He's not had the identity thieves on the go. So I'm waiting for a response. So I'll let you know.
Stephen.
Yeah. Get back to us. Wow. Get back to us by all means. And if what gear has Russell been doing? Let us know what you think in the comments or Instagram and X at Type40 Doctor Who. Yeah, we'd love to know your thoughts. Your thoughts on that and all of the silliness. So you see what I mean about silly season? It's definitely a thing, Charlotte. Definitely a thing.
It's definitely a thing.
This cannot be argued at this point. And heaven knows, yes, you may well look like that. John, his ear has got off lightly this time. But there'll almost certainly be more BS coming at the same time next year. You can guarantee it. Is everybody going to sleep at night? Okay, now after all of this, which item was your favourite, Charlotte? Before you go, which one was it? The iffy auctioneers? Was it the completely wild Russell T Davies giant cow idea? Was it Wolf playing the Doctor?
Cow, just for that image.
That's the one.
Just that image.
There you go.
Make me giggle, I think, for the rest of the night in my sleep, knowing me. So, on that note, because I love to go on like these random notes, don't I?
It's a high point. Yeah, quit while you're ahead. Yeah.
I will see you all next week.
See you next time, Charlotte. Thanks for your company. Bye-bye.
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 Fabulous stuff.
Thank God she's gone.
Yes. Jack, have you got a favourite of these items so far? And has Silly Season delivered this year for you, or was it found wanting?
Silly Season certainly did well for one way or the other. Delivered, especially with the last one. Again, trying to imagine a giant cow wandering around UNIT. It's
tough one.
Yeah.
Tough one.
Yes. Tough one indeed.
Yes, I speak cow now.
The future of Doctor Who could indeed lie with the bovine.
Speak cow and rope as well. Jesus Christ.
Thing is, these ideas do have a habit of eventually turning up somewhere or somehow. And obviously, Russell T Davies being a much respected figure in the entertainment industry, Matt, maybe somebody will take the offcut and turn it into its own show. Maybe led by a cow.
By a cow, yeah.
Wow.
Holy cow.
You never ever you never know.
He did hire Catherine Tate. So
I wonder if they'd have gotten a real cow or had a fake cow or a CGI cow. How would have they handled that? Now that just curious.
Ooh.
You know.
I
At least on Fringe they had a cow.
The live chat of
He's gone down in my as a writer. He's not a very good writer now. I don't know what the hell's happened
when
to
did
him.
that happen?
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy, isn't it?
A cow on roller skates inside the TARDIS, says Peter Harrington. Yeah, might as well just go for it. In for a penny, in for a pound, and all that jazz. Heretics says about the ramp. Yeah, it could have been for a cow in the end. Cinnamon Toast Crunch says, speaking of scripts, they've recently just made most Doctor Who scripts available to look at now. Yes, 200 of them are up on the Whoniverse hub on the through the BBC. So yeah, you can go and read 200 scripts. I think some of them are episodes, some of them are for audition pieces, and all manner of things from Doctor Who history, from out of the vaults, which is a fabulous thing. I think it's great that they've done that, and not all of it is on the Blu-rays. I understand some of it may be new stuff. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Really fun show today, says the Time Scouts. Well, we do try. And Darren here suggests that this. He says, "Stop that! It's getting silly." I don't know what he means, Scott. I've got no idea.
I don't either. I think everything is perfectly normal, and we should just continue as we normally do. This is proper.
Don't know what he's getting at. Don't know what he's getting at there. Yes, with lots of people saying good night to our Charlotte as well. Good stuff. Okay, so yes, which was your favourite item from the silly season hit list this time? We'd love to know. Of course we would. And there's bound to be plenty of it flying around throughout the rest of the year, but it does seem to somehow to manifest and congeal at this time of year. Do we know? I think we'll probably never truly know why, and maybe we don't want to know, because that is the magic of Doctor Who's silly I know I can barely keep a straight face saying half of this stuff. And that is the magic of Doctor Who's very, very own silliest of seasons. Okay, where shall we go? Where should we go next? This one. One more thing, everybody. One more thing. How can we not go there for our sixth Doctor dressing gown? Maybe. I don't know. Yes, because this is the part of the show where we cover all things from the fandom, don't we? In our Pretty Pictures gallery across the view screen, we will parade the very best that we've been able to find from arty, crafty Doctor Who fans. Could be traditional art, or it could be digital art. It could be handmade, lovely little bits of stuff like this post office box topper. I love this. If there's any more floating around out there, I'd love to see more of these. They're absolutely brilliant. But yeah, as ever,
they're as well done as the Daleks that they try to auction.
I'd probably pay a good 10-20 quid for this. Thing's fantastic. Yes, so let us know if you're a fan artist or you know a fan artist. Where can we find your work, share your work? Let's get it up on the view screen for other Doctor Who fans to enjoy here at Type 40 Live. Okay, what's going on? What's going on here in the live chat? There's a sale on. There's a sale on, says Peter. Where, Peter? Where? It was a Monty Python reference, says Darren. Oh, I get it now. Have you been following the drama as well, Darren? Oh, yeah, good stuff. Move. Yes, we've moved on from the cows, Richard. We've done our best. So yes, we have some fan art. And this one, I thought this could not be commented upon, particularly at this time of year. We're coming up on the 40th anniversary, Scott, of, if this isn't a seminal Doctor Who story, I don't know what is, and this brand new piece of artwork by the artist Rafe Warbank to go along with the Caves of Androzani there. So we've got Peter Davison's Fifth Doctor and the head, the mask of Sharas Jek there. Have you seen this one before? Are you aware of Rafe's work?
Oh, I'm not aware of his work, but I've definitely seen the episode many, many, many times. I love this. This is wonderful.
It's a classic, isn't it? A classic. Nice. I worked on this show, Sir Simon Anthony.
Oh wow!
I mean,
Simon, thank you for your work, sir. I mean,
thank you for your service.
Yes.
Simon will be a future guest on Type 40.
But darn it, why couldn't he get some more Bat's milk? Come on.
Nice, as Peter Harrington. Amazing story. This always plays very, very well. Anytime we mention this story, it plays well. This piece of artwork, though, I think is particularly beautiful. It's Rafe's work. Obviously, Rafe, his father is Pete Warbank. Obviously, the Target cover artist, the VHS cover artist. So it very much runs in the family. But I really like this piece. It was created for this event. So this is an event held by the Doctor Who Appreciation Society. It's not actually happened yet. It's not happening until the 24th of March this year at the Riverside Studios in Hammersmith, London. There, Ian, which several classic Doctor Who stories were filmed at Riverside. Of course they were. And these screenings are quite commonplace there. In fact, there was one a few weeks ago for an Adventure in Space and Time, I believe. So just when I was getting all excited about this, because I've wanted to go to one of these for a while, I found out this had sold out in a day and a half flat. Jack, you were in London recently, weren't you? Have you ever been to one of these? Would you be tempted to go to one?
I've unfortunately never been to one. Same with the BFI screenings, but I did see when these went on sale, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you know what? It's time to finally, do it." But yeah, as you said, they're sold out really quick, and it's such a brilliant story as well. I'd bloody love to see that on the big screen. I think it'd be incredible, and obviously, some of the cast and crew are there as well. It would be
even better.
Yeah, such an amazing experience.
Is it shown at the BFI?
No, at the Riverside Studios.
Okay.
It's a screening, Q&A, photos and autographs. Cast and crew reunite live on stage to discuss the making of this landmark production. Attendees get the chance to meet the stars at an autograph signing and photo studio. Separate charges apply and all that jazz. Peter Davison's going to be there. Obviously, he's not on a date with Ariana Grande that day. Nicola Bryant's going to be there, of course, Perry, Michael Cochran, who played Shellac, along with the fantastic director Graham Harper and script editor at the time, Eric Saywood, too. So that should be... That's quite a list and quite an afternoon. And I'm not surprised at all that this sold out instantaneously, particularly when it's represented there by Rafe's fabulous, fabulous artwork. CTC is my favourite scene, is the Doctor being chased across the planet's surface. I completely agree. There's so many highlights of this, and lots of people name it, not just of the best story of the 1980s, like Gary Akers does here, watching on YouTube and commenting along, but a lot of people name that as the best Doctor Who story of all time. Simon says it was great as well there. Of course it was. And this artwork, yeah, it does a fabulous job of recapturing the mood and the excitement of a genuine Doctor Who classic. Next up, we're going into the possible future with Scott Gray and his latest piece. So we've got the 15th Doctor and Ruby Sunday here, clinging on to the TARDIS there. I'm not sure whether they're in outer space or in the time vortex, what's going on, but they are besieged. They are flanked by Daleks. And one of them has only gone and blasted a hole through the Doctor's plaid coat there. Could this be the reason why he has to keep changing his clothes? That's what we want to know, Matt. If the Daleks keep blowing holes in them, what do you think?
Well, he does like blowing holes, but
oh dear,
I don't know.
Easy tiger. Allegedly.
Yeah. So yeah,
we love you.
But yeah, I mean, I've got to twist my head around because it's quite weird, isn't it? It's quite a weird.
The word I would use, Matt, is it's dynamic. I think that's what he's going for here.
Yeah, I can see that, but yeah, it's just slightly the perspective's a bit off. But other than that, it's fine.
Yeah. Scott sells these as prints up through his own social medias and his websites, and up on Etsy as well. And they're always very colourful. Scott's a comic book artist and writer. I think I've talked about his work several times. He's still got me blocked. Scott, what's going on? You've still got me blocked. But I still like his work, still love what he does. He's written some of the best Doctor Who comic strips of all time. Boy, shoot, he has long fingernails in that picture. Has he?
I wonder why.
Fab, says Peter Harrington.
She reaching for her
Dalek should have shot him.
He needs more rings put on his.
Yeah, he needs to not have a shirt. Blah blah blah. Yeah.
I think I think these are actually quite small. Scott works quite small on these pictures. Fly Highland says this looks like an official comic. It's so good. Well, Scott works sometimes on the official comic strip in Doctor Who magazine. So this is very much
that explains it.
The way Ruby Sunday is, her pose is very much like a Marvel pose on.
She looks
on
like
covers,
Rose.
isn't it?
Like
I suppose she does. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of agree. Scott Gray's a fantastic comic writer. Who comic writer, says Gary Akers. But he says that can't be the Doctor because he's wearing his pants, his trousers.
Yeah.
As we say in Britain, you could be right. But yeah, I do. I kind of like that one. You like comics as well, don't you, Scott?
Oh yes, I have a whole closet full. I think I have a few Doctor Who ones. There was a comic shop that used to be here in town where I live, and at that time they had a whole bunch of Doctor Who comics, and I was like just grabbing. My wife's like, okay, don't go crazy. So yeah, good stuff.
How did that work out for you? Did you not go crazy? Did you resist?
I got about I don't know, at that time, this was years ago, about 5 years ago, and then the shop closed right before COVID. I think if I'm not mistaken, I might have gotten a couple of Capaldi's and a couple of David Tennant ones, and
very nice.
Yeah, but I think I only spent maybe about $40, something like that. But now I have like all these ones that I only got like part of the story, and I'm like, oh darn it, now I have to get the rest of them. But yeah, good. I love good. I've got some really old stuff in there too, Dan. I'm sure you do too.
Comics.
Oh God, yeah. Gary reminds us it's a free comic book day again this year. There's a 15th Doctor comic from Titan. I'm going to give Titan one last go with the Doctor Who comics. They've been really bad for quite a long time. Going back the best part of 10 years. So I do hope that they take this opportunity to pull it back around there. I agree with Moffat. Stephen Moffat, he, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, agrees with Stephen Moffat when he says somebody's not really the Doctor until they face the Daleks. You think that's probably why they bring them out of the toy box pretty early now?
Dance with them, so who knows?
Yeah, probably.
I'm sensing you're not the biggest Ncuti fan, Matt. Let's move on back to the classic show and this piece from another writer. This guy usually writes novels, but he's also an artist as well. So Paul Mars has been painting lots of Doctor Who sites and people in recent months and putting them up on social media again for auction. This is his latest one. It's the Fourth Doctor and the Brigadier as they were seen in Robot. And I really like Paul's style. So it's obviously quite cartoonish, a little bit Lautrec. It's a bit like a screen print or something. And his choice of colours, again, it's arresting, I think is the word I would use. But I do like this, the way it's almost kind of burnt.
I'm kind of waiting for the song "Take on Me."
It reminds me. It's as if the lines are kind of moving, particularly if you look at the Doctor's right arm there, that kind of wavy, kind of faded line, and the white flecks as well. At first, I have to be honest, I didn't really feel these paintings, but after I saw a few of them, I've got to sort of like them now. I like what he does and how he does it. It's a very distinctive style that probably, I think it's safe to say, won't be for everyone. Paul Mars is brilliant. I love his books, says Crimpline Doubloon. Yeah, he's very, very popular writer. He's written for Doctor Who in most medium, but I had no idea he was a painter, an artist, until quite recently. The live chat is a little bit quiet on this one. I think it's probably safe to say it's an acquired taste. But You got the Brigadier there, though, Ian?
Well, it looks nothing like Tom Baker or the Brigadier, tell you the truth. But
I can see the Brig more so.
I see the Brigadier more, but not
yeah,
Tom
it's a nice painting. He's got a style all of his own. You know, it is high art as far as I'm concerned. But Tom Baker doesn't look anything like Tom Baker. That's the only drawback on this one for me.
Yeah. How about you, Jack? You got much time for this brand of artwork?
I mean, it's very visually beautiful, but I do agree with Ian. Like, the one thing that sticks out to me is that, you know, Tom Baker unfortunately doesn't look like Tom Baker on this, unfortunately.
Not quite got him. Not quite got him, has he?
It kind of reminds me of the sketches you would see, the little cartoons in like in Playboy magazine back in the day and stuff like that, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I only read it for the articles. No.
Playboy is well known for their articles, you know. Seriously, I mean, that's where Spielberg got Duel from a Playboy magazine.
Was it really?
Duel, yeah, because that was written in Playboy, and he saw it and he read it, so, and then it became a movie. So they're very well known for their articles, Playboy.
Sticking with the Tom Baker era, glossing over the Playboy. Yeah. For now, glossing over Playboy for now. Sticking with the Tom Baker era, though, we have this one. This is from the Lone Animator, and I thought this fitted in beautifully with the theme of Doctor Who's silly season, because some people, not me, of course, have suggested that this creature was quite silly. I personally, these terrified the life out of me when I was a kid, but the Mandrels, they have never looked more formidable than in this piece from the Lone Animator. This Mandrel seems to be getting into a fight there with a giant Venus flytrap, Ian. Doesn't this convince you?
It doesn't matter what you do, you can't make those things look terrifying. They just look stupid. Come on. But it's good drawing, though.
I love this. I just love the style. It reminds me of children's picture books, which is very much the kind of stuff that I like to read and like to do. I've done several children's picture books myself. So I like the colours. I like the characterisation of these classic villains there, Matt. What do you think of this?
Oh, I think it's lovely. It's it looks very fantasy book. It does, especially with the butterflies and that. They look like little fairies and stuff.
If you look at it, I thought they were fairies at first, but if you look a little bit closer, they're kind of like Monoptera kind of creatures. Really nicely done.
Don't put it down, but yes.
I don't recall this monster.
It really looks good.
The story's called The Nightmare of Eden from the Tom Baker era, the not Philip Hinchcliffe, the Graham.
Wow.
Graham
This
Williams
actually doesn't give the monsters justice.
Okay. I'll have to go back and watch it because I don't remember it.
I meant it in a positive way, Dan.
I think it makes them look quite powerful. Duncan Shaw suggests the Mandrels have a weird-looking face. They do, and I do like how this artist has made it look as if the Mandrel is kind of grimacing, as if he's going to pull this plant creature up by the root there. We've got a couple of spoilers in there from The Nightmare of Eden, which I won't read out, just in case Scott's never seen it. But CTC says, I remember enjoying Nightmare of Eden. Cute story. Somehow quite surprised I've described a Doctor Who story like that. Yeah, it is, though. I know exactly what you mean.
By Bob Baker.
It's possible that it's one of the ones that, because I remember way back in the late 80s, mid 80s, cousin of mine, he had a lot of them on VHS that were, just recorded off of PBS, and he made me a stack. And he said, "Oh, I'm only missing an episode or two from, Tom Baker all the way through to Colin Baker." And I was like, okay, so maybe it's one of the ones that I never saw.
Blu-ray. You can get it on Blu-ray now.
Yeah, so they're so expensive here, though, Matt. I mean, they're like, they're crazy. But I have to get them, so I just have to start getting them one at a time. Yeah.
Get it while you can and how you can, and pick up your Blu-rays too. Everybody, pick up your Blu-rays too. It's the flared legs. Reminds me of the 1970s, says Peter Harrington. I think that's one of the things I like the most about them, to be honest, Ian. They do remind me of a very particular time in TV and in popular. You could fit all four of them in one of those. Yeah. Or inside a giant cow. Could all four of ABBA have fit inside a giant cow? Instagram and X at Type 40 Doctor Who. Let us know the answer to that one.
The thing about the Mandals is that if they did it now, they probably look really good, really realistic, and really look like they, those kind of the way that's drawn, it's really good. But obviously, the costume they made for the time,
it'd be too problematic.
What, because of the flares? 70s
flare. Don't have anything from the 70s now.
What those things in Ark in space? Oh my gosh! I have a plastic ant some here from when I was a kid, and I'm like, oh, this is the creatures from the Ark in space.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That you know what, Doctor Who's such a classic. I'm all for them going back and correcting the effects and stuff like that, because that, in my opinion, enhances the enjoyment.
Mm-hmm.
If they went and redone the Mandals and they put CGI Mandals in there, I'm all for it. I'm in the shop or I'm on Amazon buying it. I'm telling you, I love it when they go back and fix Doctor Who, because I think
as long as you can see them side by side.
Yeah, exactly. You have the choice. Yeah, you have the choice to look at the original.
I saw Destiny of the Daleks recently, and it was just all
really
the special effect, the new effects that they had in it were just
terrible.
The original.
Really?
Oh, okay.
Difficult man to please. It has to be said there. I think that's where you came in, isn't it, Matt? Thank you for your company and your contributions. Everybody who's been there in the live chat across YouTube, Rumble, and on Facebook. Some real. I'm going to use the word gold. I think we will look back on this evening with fondness, gentlemen, at the parade of the preposterous that has been laid before us for Doctor Who Silly Season 2024. But all good things must come to an end, even this. And if you're an artist, a digital artist or a traditional artist, and you've got some Doctor Who pieces you'd like to get up on the view screen here at Type 40 Live, send them our way. By all means, you can contact us through our social media. Instagram and X at Type 40 Doctor Who, or if you're feeling really brave and got a bit more time on your hands, you can join us in the Type 40 Facebook group there with regenerations worth upon regenerations worth of fellow fans, counting down the weeks and the months, and counting up the ridiculous stories that are coming out of the fandom in these weeks too. It seems to happen every single year. Next week, we're hoping we're going to get something that might make some sort of sense. Come back across the Atlantic from Gallifrey One 2024, happening over the next 4 or 5 days there in Los Angeles. We'll be talking about whatever they say, whatever they get up to, right here next week, and bringing our hot takes, cold shoulders, pet peeves, and pot shots. Unmissable, absolutely unmissable. Thank you all for your company, gentlemen. We made it through together. I'm not sure we've made any sense. I don't think we made any sense of it, Jack. That's the problem. I don't know if I'm any better off now, but I feel like I've been through therapy of sorts,
Yeah, it's
having a laugh, yes. You get to laugh it off, kind of like a bad dream.
It's been the strangest Type 40 I've ever been.
We have done stranger. I asked Shah about the musical episode that we did. Yeah, I shouldn't complain about Doctor Who doing one.
I wasn't on that one.
It was.
Are you glad you're on this one?
Well, who would have thought that Russell T would have been the weirdest thing in this episode? You'd have thought there'd be some fan that did something weirder, but Russell T coming up with a cow idea. Come on, that is the worst. That is the worst.
I'd have been guessing all night. I have to say I would. Of course, more Type 40 Live next time. Please, leave us a comment about all of this, about your favourite silly season item. If we keep you awake tonight, you can come and take it out on us there in the comment section, and one or the other of us will get back to you. Gallifrey One, too, if you're there and you're watching from LA, waiting for the convention to start or to start back up again over the weekend, drop us a comment. Let us know how it's going, what you've heard, who said what about who, and maybe if any secrets are going to be revealed.
We love him.
Tell them all. We love them. We love them all. Yes. So who's going to be there? So who's going to be there? It's Annette Badland, Camille Kaduri. We've got Derek Jacobi. My God, who doesn't love Derek Jacobi? Alex Kingston's going to be there. Billy Piper's going to be there. My God, how are they going to top that next time? Well, they'll have Jack there, won't they? Jack, you'll go and sort them out, won't you?
Oh yeah, I'll be there front and center. There we go.
They don't need anybody else there. He'll sort it out for us. Ian, thanks for your company, mate. Glad you could make it. Good to see you again.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Apart from the cow idea, it was good.
It's good. You've been messaging me later. You brought me on for that.
For the cow idea, yeah.
Simon's gonna hate the fact that he missed this one.
Oh dear.
Somehow I don't think he is.
Simon will, of course, be back once he's undercover at the moment on other duties on manoeuvres, but he'll be back with the diary under his arm, no doubt, along with more news, views, nostalgia, debate, discussions, and banter. Same time and space next week here for more Type 40 Live. Yeah, okay. Leave us a comment about all of this. We can't take any responsibility for any nightmares that you may have, but we hope you've had a scream.
The cow.
as much as we have. Thank you again for your company, everybody, and we'll speak to you all again next time. Enjoy your weekends. Bye bye.
Bye bye.